probably just end up costing them more money in the future. I don't know what the game plan is here.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you have to move some salaries out, right? In the form of Troy Terry or somebody else. Don't you just feel like they'll get it done though? Like they're not gonna.
They have to.
Yeah, they're not gonna be. I don't think this is gonna end in a situation where those two guys, plus like you mentioned Seneca, like they're not on the roster. So,
and you get into that situation where all of a sudden you make those moves, but you're doing it from a position of weakness, and then other teams know that and like, okay, we'll take Troy Terry or Granlund, but you're also going to throw in a draft pick, right?
That is always one of like the arguments against it, right? Like how like when we had to get rid of Matt Cassian, we had to give up to get him to go play in the desert there.
Yeah,
give up. What was that a first rounder along with it? It couldn't have been. Maybe it was a third, whatever it was. But like that is the situation that arises, right? So,
yeah, Zach Cassian.
Yeah, not Matt.
Great guy as well.
Great guy.
But not
who we were talking about.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Like a team trading that away, trading away a bad contract. You're happy to get him off the books, but it's also like, well, what did it cost us? Cassian was an interesting one for sure. It was Cassian with Edmonton's first, which was the 29th overall pick.
So what? Okay.
A second in 2024. A third in 2025, and the Oilers also got the Coyotes' 32nd pick back in 2022. So it was a lot. You were swapping selections around all over the place. You just rather not get into that situation. And you know what? The Philadelphia Flyers, they have a bit of a history with the Anaheim Ducks. Obviously, that's where Cutter Gauthier came from. Wanted to move on out of Philly, get sent to the Anaheim Ducks. Maybe there was some bad blood in the organization. Like, heck, let's just throw this $18 million offer sheet in their direction and see what they do. You're going to make it work. You're going to get cap compliant by the start of the season. But I just have to think, like, for the Anaheim Ducks and their fan base, that's going to leave a bad taste in their mouth. Similar to when the Oilers did it to the Ducks and was it Brian Burke talking about the barnyard fight that might happen? It's crazy. And it was preventable, right? Like, all these situations, when we see the offer sheets pop off, similar to what happened with the Oilers and Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway, it's preventable. You could lock these guys up earlier. Back then, they kind of targeted free agency before taking care of their own. For the Anaheim Ducks, we'll wait and see. And, maybe probably should have given themselves a little more wiggle room to work with because it does not seem like $9 million is going to get the job done. 1-833-401-1440. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. In case you missed it, lots coming up here on the show today. I also want to let you know that we are officially getting going on the Frenzy Fantasy Football League. If you want any more information on that, you can go check out us on social media. We've got the post up there. Mackenzie did a great job with that. And details, if you're looking at it, you want to get in. It's 10 spots available. Brandon and myself will field the team. We also have a spot designated for our defending champion. So there's 10 spots available, 12-team league. I believe we're going to do half-point PPR for those of you who are curious about the rules. Draws for this will happen on September 4th. It's a Friday. We'll do it at about 11:20 on the Frenzy. Select 10 names out of our entries. The draft will happen on the 8th, which is the Tuesday before the season gets going at 6 o'clock. Half the money goes to the winner. No money going to second place. It's all going to the winner. The other half will go to the Canadian Cancer Society. As we raise money, I'm going to be taking part in the Run for the Cure early October, so I'll put it towards that. And it should be a lot of fun. If you want to get in, you can enter as many entries as you want, but it is $20 per entry. So right off the cuff, you put in $20, you're giving $10 to the Canadian Cancer Society and $10 to the pod. A lot of people have been buying multiple tickets. You can buy 5 for $100 and so forth. There's no discount when we get into this one. Just e-transfer Connor at sports1440.ca. Make sure you include your email in there just so when we do the draw, we can make sure we reach out and get everyone invited over that weekend. Any questions, though, you can text me 1-833-401-1440 and we'll make sure to get you in. Declan has already bought 20 spots. He wants to get in and he makes so much money, so no big deal for him. But it'd be fun to get you in there, Deck. I know you're an avid fantasy football player.
Me in. Well, I tried to get in last year, and you guys said like you closed it off. You didn't let me.
Well, you got to buy a ticket.
I would do that, but just make sure there's a spot for me.
Okay. That was a couple of years ago. MTR had bought a bunch of spots, and it didn't work out for him. There's no guarantees.
No, but that's the thing. I want a guarantee.
Well, you gotta talk to Brandon.
I feel like I should kind of be in the Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas train of like you get a spot.
You could join our team.
I like that. You cool with that?
We could have convinced him to go with JSN.
And we split. Yeah, well, you know what? We couldn't have actually because I wanted Terry McLaurin. I was with you when you did that, remember? And I wanted Terry McLaurin as well.
Man.
So we would have outnumbered you and we would have both been wrong.
I mean, I didn't remember that. Like, I remember you were here, but I did not remember any input from you on that.
I think you asked me and I was like, I don't know, man. I think I like Terry here.
Well, you're both wrong. Always trust me. Trailer Park Ryan says, hey guys, so I have to compete with Declan in his 10 entries when I only have 5. I guess I better up my game. You know what? At the end of the day, even if you don't get selected, Ryan, you're helping out a great charity and maybe giving money to the Defender. We've done this event twice. The Defenders have won both times. It's a 2-time champion. Modern day dynasty, some might say. I'll wait to see if he can pick up the 3rd one. But yeah, he's had a pretty good run. I can't help but think, had we made that one selection, maybe things would have gone a little bit different, but we will never know. Still to come on this show today, starting in the 5 o'clock hour. We got Spec, we got Cam Tate. At the 4 o'clock hour, we got the roundtable and 5 questions. Nick Sabota going to join us, take a look at the Buffalo Bills. In the 3 o'clock hour, we'll hear from Terry Ryan, and Andrew Knoll covers the Anaheim Ducks for the LA Daily News. We'll hear the Oil Report. And coming up in this hour, Tyson Shuskowicz going to join us from Blue Jays Nation at 2:40. Up next, John Hodge of 3 Down Nation. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
At GS Construction, we won't quit until we find a way to get the job done. And the right person makes all the difference. We're looking for our next superintendent, an experienced leader ready to take on the role. Because while GS Construction is building the water, sewage, and drainage systems Edmonton communities rely on, the superintendent is building up the team. If you know how to keep a job site safe, productive, and moving, we want to hear from you. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Need an excuse to upgrade your ride? Well, we got a few to share. Go Auto has over 18,000 new and used vehicles ready to test drive right now. With more than 70 locations, your perfect match could be closer than you think. A family-friendly SUV for soccer practice, a fuel-sipping commuter, or a hardworking truck that's ready for anything. Trusted brands and a team that's actually happy to help. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Life doesn't always line up with Election Day. If you'll be away, busy, or just want to skip the line, you can vote by mail with a special ballot. No reason is required. Simply request your special ballot online, by phone, or from your local returning office. Just remember, completed ballots must be mailed to Elections Alberta and received by 5 p.m. on October 16th. So why wait? Find everything you need to get started at specialballot.elections.ab.ca. Be referendum ready. A message from Elections Alberta.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvancelliot.com.
Starting this Thursday, 3 days only. Don't miss the VIP Overstock sale at Wolf GMC Buick. They're seriously overstocked with over 400 pieces of inventory on clearance and ready to move. Explore the entire inventory right now. Click on the clearance tab at wolfgmcbuick.com. Plus, employee pricing continues. And during the VIP Overstock sale, stop in for even more special incentives. That's Thursday.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Fundraise for your team or charity at On the Rocks. They'll make custom tickets for your event that include no line, cover, and one drink. You keep the profits. Learn more at ontherocksyag.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight's Lotto Max an estimated $50 million. Get your ticket, PlayAlberta.ca. Remember, use your game sense. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan, and Connor the intern with you here in the Sports 1440 studios. MTR says, Con, when's the cutoff for fantasy entries? The Thursday before the draft or before the draw. Also says, trying to make me cry with this song selection, Declan. Was that Adele?
It was. And I came out of the break for the liner read with my eyes closed like I was putting on a performance. Flubbed it like 2 lines in.
Yeah.
But the heart was into it.
I don't know the song, but I knew the voice.
Yeah, she's unmistakable.
Yeah, she is quite the talent, isn't she? Lots to get to still on the show. Right now, though, we'll kick things off with a little CFL talk. The Edmonton Elks in action on Friday night, 7:30. We will be giving you a chance to win some tickets. I have yet to decide how we'll do it, but stay tuned. Maybe in the 3 o'clock hour, we'll start to give away a couple pairs of tickets, and we'll do that for the rest of the week. But right now, we'll get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Spruce Grove Saints. We're looking forward to kicking off their season September 18th and follow it up with a spectacular season. Saints Hockey School runs from the 24th to the 28th, all ages U9, U11, U13, and U16. You can sign up today at sgsaints.ca as we bring in John Hodge, covers the CFL with 3downnation.com. John, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and thanks for that, emotional musical entrance.
Yeah, I mean, it was sad. So maybe I'll have to start off with a sad topic. What is going on with the Ottawa Red Blacks right now? Because it's players, it's coordinators, it's presidents. Like, everyone is just on the way out. They're not winning football games. What's going on out there?
Well, I mean, on the field, this team has obviously struggled this season. This team has lost 9 consecutive games to start the year. They're the 10th team in CFL history to start a season 0-9. And this team hasn't won a game since, about the 2/3 way mark last year. They've lost 15 straight games. That is a new CFL modern historical record. So obviously things are not going well in the nation's capital. And Adrian Skira, their previous president, who'd been on the docket for about 3.5 years, I was told by OSEG CEO and President Mark Gowdy yesterday, essentially came to him a few weeks ago and said, hey, listen, things are obviously not working. OSEG has a number of teams under its ownership umbrella. And so Skira is going to focus exclusively on the 67s, and the Red Blacks are in the market for a new president who will be a football-only person. And, obviously, with the struggles this team has had consistently since they lost the Grey Cup game in 2018, this is a situation where new leadership is clearly needed, strong leadership is clearly needed, and they need someone who has a football focus and a football background, and that's what they're trying to find. And so, it's going to cost some extra resources, but frankly, based on the performance and the challenges that the team has had in recent years, that influx of resources is needed.
Yeah, I mean, and we've seen it here firsthand in Edmonton, how much a president can do. Chris Morris came in here and, totally switched things around. So when you look at the Ottawa Red Blacks, is there any candidates you've heard so far, or is it too early in the process?
I mean, I spoke to Mark Gowdy yesterday. He essentially said, we definitely want to have somebody hired by the end of this calendar year, but he also hasn't ruled out hiring someone in the relatively near future. The only downside of doing that is you're limiting yourself from being able to hire someone who's currently with another team, right? If you're going to hire someone from another club, you'd have to, of course, wait for the end of the season. So I don't think they're trying to rush this necessarily. I think they recognize how important this is to get right. And so, I mean, there's people out there, right? I mean, Jeff Hunt might, who was with this team for its first, I believe it was 6 years of operation, maybe 5 years, helped them win a Grey Cup and was, the president for many years and then also a minority owner of the club. It's possible he could be back in the mix. I think you have to have a conversation with Mike Moriali, a guy who, was the commissioner of the CEBL and did a great job getting that league off off and running, but also was a star receiver in the Canadian Football League for many years. I also wonder about Mark Waitman, a guy who was the president and I think did a really nice job with the Montreal Alouettes for years until he got pushed out following the hiring of Pierre-Carl Pelledeau. Now he's got a great job working in minor hockey in Quebec, so I don't know if he'd want it, and I obviously can't speak for any of these individuals, but those are some of the names that I think would only be natural to come up. But we know that, again, the Red Blacks are not in a hurry. They recognize this is important to get right, and so I would be surprised if there's a resolution here in the near future.
John Hodge of 3 Down Nation joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in, and it won't get any easier for Ottawa. They get Montreal on Thursday, and Elks fans can tell you that Alouettes team looks really good. You had the article pointing out that they can clinch a playoff spot by week 14, which is crazy. This Alouettes team, I mean, to me, it looks as good as a team that we've seen in a long time in the CFL. What stands out to you about this group the most?
I mean, you have to go to the play of Davis Alexander. I think this Montreal Alouettes team has been just unbelievable, right? I mean, I don't think it's hyperbolic to say that Davis Alexander is the closest thing we've had to Doug Flutie since Doug Flutie, and that's about as high of a compliment as you can pay. I mean, the offensive line's been great. They can run the ball well. Their receivers are fantastic. Obviously, Tyson Philpott, number 1, Tyler Snead, number 2 in the entire CFL, not just on that roster. But I mean, what Davis Alexander has been able to do is unbelievable. They're good on special teams. Like they're very good on defense as well. I mean, this is a defensive unit that has been very good for years under Noel Thorpe. And so, there's just really no holes in this team. And that's why they've I think been so successful this year. And honestly, if you go back to that one loss that they had in Edmonton, there was a bit of a controversial call in that overtime game. I know that head coach Jason Moss spoke to the media after it occurred, and he still believes that should have been considered Montreal ball, in which case, I mean, this team could be 9-0. So the fact that they are 8-1 and mathematically, possibly going to be able to clinch this division in the next just 3 weeks is a testament to how great that organization is right now.
John, we saw the report out there that Trey Ford taking first team reps with the Ticats, obviously a part of that big win over the Rough Riders, kind of doing the Edmonton Elks a favor. What have you seen from Trey Ford this year? And, have you seen any steps from his time in Edmonton forward?
Yeah, and I've done some poking around about this, and all the sources that I've spoken to regarding Trey in Hamilton are very positive. He is someone who is coming in early. He's someone who is staying late. He's someone who was all in on football. And whether they were valid or not, I think there were some concerns about that in Edmonton. So it certainly seems as though whether it's the influence from Scott Milanovich, the influence from Bo Levi Mitchell. It seems as though, at the very least, Trey is currently operating like a true franchise quarterback, which again, I'm not saying is or was not true in Edmonton, but there were some concerns about that at times from the local leadership that was in place, at least while Trey was a relatively young quarterback there, with, some of the comments, for example, that Chris Jones made. So, look, I think Trey has been inconsistent. And I honestly think, we talked about this on the 3 Down Nation podcast just a couple days ago, I think that if you're the Hamilton Tiger Cats, what might be the best option is just Harrison Frost and Trey Ford. Maybe not Harrison Frost or Trey Ford, because they are such opposite quarterbacks. I mean, Harrison Frost, Scott Milanovich, the team's head coach, compared to Trevor Harris, right? A guy who gets the ball out really quickly, a guy who's deadly accurate, doesn't have like the biggest arm in the CFL, but certainly has an arm that's big enough to hurt you down the field. Whereas Trey Ford, I mean, he's the ultimate improviser. He's the ultimate athlete. I mean, this guy could arguably be the fastest player in the Canadian Football League. Not fastest quarterback, fastest player, which is such a nightmare for opposing defenses to defend. And we saw that in that win over Saskatchewan. Harrison Frost was solid early on in that game. And then Trey Ford came in and the Riders really struggled to adjust defensively. So I really like, generally speaking, I think you need one quarterback, one leader, but let's not forget that the one quarterback, the one leader of this football team is Bo Levi Mitchell. He's just not able to play right now due to the likely season-ending ankle injury that he suffered. So if I am the Hamilton Tiger Cats, our quarterback, our star, is not playing right now. So why not use 2 to replace him? I think in this case, 2 is better than 1.
Yeah, I mean, it was too bad for Bo Levi because he was having another incredible start to the season. As John Hodge joins us here on the Jason Gregor Show, Connor Halley sitting in. It's been a little bit of a topic and kind of confusion for me when I look out west, because I think you've got the Elks and the Rough Riders, who right now look like they're kind of the top 2 teams here in the division. But then when it gets to Winnipeg and BC, Calgary, I feel like night in, night out, this can change. Any of these teams could finish in that 3rd spot. So right now, of those 3 teams, do you have a preference for the 3rd playoff spot if we get there and the standings are still similar?
I mean, if I had to pick, I would roll with the BC Lions. I think Nathan Rourke he hasn't really played up to his peak this season, but I still think he's a great quarterback. And defensively, that unit under Mike Benavides was an absolute disaster for the first couple weeks of the season, and they have, I think, quietly been very good since then. They're the number 1 team in the Canadian Football League against the run, and they have really cleaned things up against the pass with that young secondary improving, and I think the pass rush getting much better as the season's gone on. So I really like the BC Lions, but I think you make an excellent point. Like, for me right now, league-wide, I would say inarguably the Montreal Alouettes are the best team in the league, and honestly, I would not even put them in a tier with anybody else. I would say they are alone in the top tier of Canadian Football League teams. I would then put Edmonton and Saskatchewan in tier 2. And I think you can make an argument either way. Certainly the Edmonton Oilers are healthier right now, but I think you can make an argument that the Riders are the better team. But on any given day, they're very even. And then I would honestly put everybody except Ottawa in tier 3 right now. And that includes BC, Calgary, Winnipeg, and it includes Hamilton and Toronto. Like, all these teams have looked good at times, not good at others. They all have assets. They all have flaws, and that's why they're all kind of hovering right around that 500 mark. So certainly that West Division playoff race between those 3 clubs is going to be an interesting one to follow over the next half of the season.
John, you had a great tweet earlier today just about the growth in Edmonton when it comes to fans. August 15th, 2025, Elks host the Argos. Fan base of 16,500, let's say. A year later against the Argos and a few more wins, 22,583. You do mention the weather last year might a little bit of an impact, could have hurt the walk-up, but I just want to ask you, your thoughts on what you've seen on and off the field from this Elks organization from afar.
Yeah, everybody got really excited about the 31,000 number against the Saskatchewan Roughriders a few weeks ago. And look, it's an exciting number. It's great. And I'm not saying that it wasn't a good number, but when you go back and you look at the game that Saskatchewan played in Edmonton last season, they had 30,000 people at Commonwealth. Like year over year, riders in Saskatchewan, it wasn't that big of a bump. It was a bump, and any growth should be celebrated given how bad the attendance had been in Edmonton in recent years. But the reason I think this is a more substantial victory and should be celebrated more is because the riders are always going to be an anomaly in Edmonton. There's so many displaced Saskatchewanians in Edmonton. There's so many people who travel to Edmonton for those games. Like the crowd is always going to be inflated. And this team can't rely on having the Saskatchewan Roughriders in town long term to get attendance where it needs to be. And when I spoke to Chris Morris, the team's president this offseason, he talked about how 22,000 is right in kind of that break-even neighborhood for that club. And if they can get past that number up in the 25, 26 area or even more, they can be profitable and really make money and invest even more into the community. So hitting that 22,000 number against a team like Toronto, which is never going to draw a lot on the road. Certainly, I mean, in Hamilton, they would draw on the road, but they're, if you're a West Division team, you're not sitting there going, oh, I can't wait for the Toronto Argonauts bump. It's just not there. So to grow from 16,000 and change to 22,000 and change in just the span of 1 year is great. And also these games both took place in mid-August, right? You're not comparing let's say a late season game where the team is out of it and the locals have checked out to an early season game. Like this is a real apples to apples comparison, right? It's mid-August, same opponent. The weather was a little worse in 2025, but it was not raining. It wasn't snowing. It was just a bit of a chilly day. And so to be up almost 50% year over year for that matchup is, I think, really exciting for that team.
Yeah, it has been. And I will tell you, the last 5 years, early times where we were trying to give tickets away on this show, whether it would be on air or through our Facebook account, and, it'd be kind of crickets. But now, we're getting way more people that want to get out there on Facebook, especially. So, hey, yeah, the buzz is growing around this team. They've certainly done it the right way, putting the right people in places. And then on the field, you have the players of the week this week, Cody Fajardo there, as is JJ Ross and Xander Horvath of the BC Lions, who had another big game. But Cody Fajardo this season, second in the league in passing yards. He's completing over 71% of his attempts. He's looked great this year. Did you foresee this season coming for Cody Fajardo?
No. And I mean, look, I think Cody Fajardo is a solid quarterback. I've always felt that. I mean, he's a Grey Cup MVP. He doesn't have anything left to prove. But let's also say this. He was openly contemplating retirement this past offseason, right? Mm-hmm. And so for him to come out this year and be on pace to set a personal career high for passing yards, he's on pace for over 5,000. He's never had that. He's only broken 4,000 once. He's on pace to have over 20 touchdown passes. He's never done that before. He's never had over 20 touchdown passes in a season. That's exciting. And then maybe the best stat or the most encouraging one is his passes are traveling an average of 9.3 yards per pass through the air. That's a career high. He's never pushed the ball down the field this far. And I think there's a few reasons for that. I think the offensive line doing a great job has been a reason for that. I also think that the cast of receivers he has is as good as he's ever had. I mean, I think everybody going into this year was expecting good things from Austin Mack. Of course, the two of them played together at a high level in Montreal, but nobody going into this season knew who Joshua Cephas was or who TJ Luther was. And you kind of look and you go, okay, like maybe these rookies can do something. Well, they've done more than just something, right? TJ Luther was our midseason pick for most outstanding rookie, and Joshua Cephas has been very good as well. And when you add in kind of the role players who are there, Keon Julian Grant, who's got some deep threat ability, Brennan O'Leary Orange, who, is big enough to do some of that dirty work on the inside, some of that blocking, but then of course pick up yards on his own. I mean, this passing game has been really good. And, early on this year, Justin Rankin was feasting on the ground, also through the air, but mostly on the ground. And obviously defenses have adjusted to say, okay, we're going to take Justin Rankin away and make Cody beat us with his arm. And if Cody was not able to do that, this offense would not be moving the ball consistently. And obviously Fajardo has done a great job of doing exactly that and hurting teams with his arm. He's only 21 yards or 31 yards back of Davis Alexander for number one in the whole league. Now, he has played one more game, but still, I don't think anybody expected Cody Fajardo to be top 2 in passing at this point of the season, and he deserves credit for getting there.
Yeah, totally would agree. And yeah, the cast of receivers, I mean, outside of Austin Mack, it was relatively unknown. And I think for the majority of the season, these guys have stepped up. So it's been encouraging for sure. John, thanks so much for doing this today. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. John Hodge of 3downnation.com. Give him a follow on X at John D. Hodge. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll talk a little Blue Jays baseball as they're back in action, taking on the Rays down in Tampa. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch, brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Struggling to find skilled workers? What if you could fill your talent pipeline with motivated, pre-vetted youth and receive funding to support your efforts? At Careers the Next Generation, we connect Alberta employers with interns in skilled trades, IT, agriculture, forestry, and more. All WCB covered, high school accredited, safety trained, and ready to contribute from day one. With 83% of RAP students continuing their apprenticeships after high school, investing in youth today means securing your workforce for tomorrow. Don't wait. Visit careersnextgen.ca to get started.
Are you a skilled laborer? All Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with trackhoe or backhoe experience, All Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with trackhoe or backhoe experience searching for work, search All Star Construction on Indeed.
Tee up for a great day on the course and support the Stony Plain Eagles Senior Men's Hockey Club. It's the Stony Plain Eagles Golf Tournament. Gather your foursome and join the Eagles August 25th at the Links at Spruce Grove for a 2 p.m. shotgun start. Enjoy a fantastic afternoon of golf, great company, and friendly competition, all while supporting the Stony Plain Eagles. Get all the details and register today at stonyplaineagles.com.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade: safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer,
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night,
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you've decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable,
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
And with no payments, no interest for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The Chicken Parmy Burger, McExtreme pulled pork, garlic and black pepper chicken McNuggets, cheesy bacon McFlavor fries, and the Stroop Waffle McFlurry. You've scrolled them. You've screenshotted them. You've never been able to order them until now. This is the McDonald's World Menu Heist. The most wanted menu items taken from around the world, now in Canada. Get them while you can. For a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Does your bank do local? We do. When you bank with Vision Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning millions in profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. VisionCU.ca.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by CanTorque. Made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at CanTorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
246, welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight's Lotto Max, an estimated $50 million. Get your ticket, PlayAlberta.ca. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan, and Connor, the intern, with you here, the Sports 1440 studios, as we are going to get to the MLB report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home with a no payment, no interest for 1 year on your furnace or AC. Bundle them together and save more at legacyheating.ca, as we are going to talk a little Toronto Blue Jays as Tyson Shuskowicz joins us from Blue Jays Nation. Tyson, good afternoon. How are things going?
I can't complain. 7-3 record in the last 10 games is better than I think many would have thought, so can't complain.
100%. And, you go back and this Blue Jays team, we had Mike Wilner joining us on, I want to say it was about 2 weeks ago, and I asked him, it could be done, but what are the chances? And he said, hey, it's 4 games and 49 games left. There's plenty of time left for this team to get back on track. And, you look through the schedule for this team, and they've been winning, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4. So they've done a very good job against teams ahead of them in the standings when it comes to Boston and the New York Yankees. If we were to go back to that series, and let's just go to the start of the month where they kind of picked it up against Washington and then going into St. Louis, what have you seen change with this group?
Yeah, I think it's interesting, right? The Jays, I think the trade deadline was just a big spark for everyone, right? You saw some moves made where Kevin Gausman, traded away and kind of seemed like the Jays were gonna, pivot towards selling off assets and look towards the future and what it might bring. But then, to land someone like Jose Soriano and just make some of those different moves that they did, just kind of showed that it was more strategic in the sense of, they're thinking about the future, but they're not tossing in the white flag, right? They're not throwing in the towel. And I think, the Jays last season were built on, just grinding out wins, coming back late in games and just having such a vibe in the clubhouse. And I think, speak to any of the beat journalists and they'll tell you the air's kind of shifted in August. And that's not to say, the reason is because Kevin Gausman's gone, right? It's more so when you look at this team and kind of playing their game, they're going back to what they know, do best. And that's pass the baton, get some quality starts here and there. And I think the only thing that they've done a little bit differently that wouldn't be in the game plan is have to rely as heavily as they are on their bullpen, right? That's probably going to come back and bite them at some point, but it's just kind of one of those, you keep trudging forward. You put, a pretty long game stand behind you when it comes to what the Jays just went off. And now it's just kind of focusing on the rest of the schedule and what you can put in your pocket before the end of September comes around.
Now, Tyson, the big story, and we'll kind of get to some of the other players as well, but we got to talk about Vlad Guerrero Jr. and just hasn't been able to get it going power-wise. And for some guys, that might not be a huge concern, but obviously when you have his resume, but also that paycheck, the 7 home runs, just isn't enough. If I were to ask you, ways that he can get out of this funk and maybe going into the postseason, into the stretch, which, you'll take that better than this, or more so than the start of the season, what do you think it would be? How does he fix his game, at least at the plate?
Yeah, it's just, finding that form, right? And it's an easy answer, but it's hard to execute, right? And I think, a lot of fans will always gravitate back to 2021, right? When, 48 home runs, he was a runner-up MVP, he was a Silver Slugger, right? And, we've seen him kind of trail back on the home runs and the power over time, but he was still always the engine that drives the Blue Jays offense, right? He was always the guy that when you needed that play or you needed that hit or you needed that spark or just, again, just being the guy. And we just haven't seen that season. And it was actually, I think Joey Votto made a good point, right? He's, Guerrero's hitting, prime years, if you will, if he was a free agent, 27, 28 here. And, the game will always adapt to you as a player, and then it's your responsibility to adapt back, right? And that's just, Ernie Clement's a good example, right? Kind of changed his game around and kept grinding the way out. And now he's a everyday guy versus someone who was DFA'd. And for Guerrero, it's just going to have to be, it's a little bit of the physical and mechanical side, right? But it's also the mental side, right? We've seen him just flail at some pitches where you're like, what are you doing here, right? Just not his usual self. And it's kind of interesting because you'll see, strikeout wise, like he's not off crazy numbers, right? Like he's still going there. He's taking the walks here and there. It's that power. And I think, again, when you have your star player who's making an extreme amount of money, who hasn't hit a home run all season at your home barn, like you're going to start raising some questions. But, he's not the only slugger out there that's having a rough go, right? Like Cal Raleigh struggling big time too. Fernando Tatis was having a rough go there for a bit, right? So, I mean, it's the ups and downs of the game, but it's also the responsibility of him to figure it out in there. And so I think will it come? Yeah, there's a reason the Jays invest a lot of money in him, and he wears a lot on his shoulders. But I think it's just getting back to the basics. I think, even obviously you don't wish for anyone to have a concussion and be on the IL like he is right now, but it's also a bit of a breather to go, hey, we still have 40 plus games going on. If you can turn your bat around, like you could be a difference maker here. So it's not going to be the greatest season on track, but having a strong finish to the year could be make or break for this team looking to go back to the postseason.
100%. Totally agree. As Tyson Szyszkowicz joining us here at Blue Jays Nation here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. One of the great things we've seen this season has been the play of Dylan Cease coming over in free agency. And, he's only got a record of 7-5. But, I mean, some of these games, it feels like once he leaves, like the wind just falls off the sails for the Blue Jays. They fall apart. What has impressed you the most about his game this season?
Yeah, I think with Cease, right, like when the Jays signed him, they kind of knew what they were getting. They were getting that workhorse mentality type guy who will give you outings, but sometimes gets a little bit unhinged when it comes to the walks and it doesn't go as deep into games. And I think when you look at what Cease has done this season, he's just been the focal point of this rotation, right? And what I mean by that is you knew coming up in the order, like coming up in his turn in the rotation, it's like, okay, we're going to get a good start out of him, right? And especially when the Jays were really struggling at times, like, having him go to the mound and just kind of try and reset the track, if you will, was really key for the team. And Kevin Gausman was that guy for a long time. And he had some moments this season before, a couple of starts here and there that didn't go his way. And I think for Cease, it's just really crucial that he kind of continues on that track. And, the strikeouts will always be great. But being that guy that can go deep into games, give the bullpen some time off is pretty key for this team specifically. So I think if I was to pinpoint specifically what it is, it's, he's keeping the walks in check from historically, he's been a bit of a loose cannon, but he's also, in terms of innings, like he's going a bit of a distance where the Jays kind of needed him, right? Like they just getting out there, and he's got a complete game under his belt too. He's hit the 7-inning mark six times or something like that. And just, I think those are pretty key for a team that's relied so heavily on his bullpen, but also needed a figurehead, especially with Kevin Gausman gone now.
We saw it last season around this time. Trey Savage really burst onto the scene, was incredible in the postseason. This year, obviously, injuries playing a big role. But what did you see out of him in his, rookie season?
Yeah, I think it's hard to gauge, right? Because you have a guy that, burst onto the scene like he did last season and just expectations being so high. And then to kind of hit the shelf and have to deal with the injuries that you have kind of takes the wind out of your sails, right? But I think with him, it's just seeing what teams with more advanced knowledge of him can kind of do, right? Like I think last season he had a bit of a benefit to him where, he's a guy that was drafted recently. He bull rushed his way through the farm system, and all of a sudden it's September and he's in the big leagues. Now it's October and he's in the big leagues, and he didn't shy away from the moment, right? And now you turn to a full season. It's like, okay, teams have more data on you. Teams now, just have seen you before, right? And especially with, historically with the AL East being a juggernaut, not having that be like it is this season. I think just not seeing him kind of regress in the sense that he's still getting you quality innings. I mean, the walks are a little bit high than I think one would probably hope for, but teams aren't really hitting hard off of him, right? Like he still has pretty impressive contact numbers, right? I think he's given up the odd home run here and there, right? But it's just seeing him be consistently good for the Jays in the sense of going out there, giving you consistent quality starts, and not seeing kind of a regression, right? Like Alec Manoah is a good example where he had a couple good seasons and then like things went off the rails, right? And then he got hurt, and you don't want to see that happen with T Savage. So it's just having a good start like he did, minus, the injuries, and seeing him continue to adapt to big league hitters as they continue to adapt to him.
Tyson, as you mentioned, the Jays 7-3 in their last 10. If you look at all the teams ahead of them in the wild card race, the Twins, Tigers, Rangers, Orioles, Red Sox, and Yankees, no other team is above 500 in their last 10. So the Jays playing some good ball. When you look at that final wild card spot currently held by the Baltimore Orioles, just half a game up on the Jays, who do you think will be their stiffest competition?
I mean, I think the biggest threat for the Jays is going to be the Orioles, just because they still have quite a few games to play against them, right? So when you have a team that's ahead of you in the standings like that, and you still have 6+ games to go against them, right? Like every time you play them, it's an adverse reaction, right? That team is getting ahead, but you're also falling behind, right? So it's not a +1 in the sense, right, where if you're facing a National League team, they got their own wild card to think about, but here the Jays are facing, the Tigers, the Royals, the Rangers, I guess the Royals are further back, but the Rangers, the Tigers, the Orioles. Like there's some really key series here that are gonna have some really negative impacts if the Jays can't put it together. Right? The Mariners are in there too. Like it's a lot of games in here that mean a lot to a team that, although the records aren't great amongst the board, right? Like you still can't mail it in, right? Like the Yankees and the Rays are still ahead of you. They're playing, good baseball. The Mariners obviously haven't had the season that they wanted to, but again, if a win for them and a loss for you is a bigger reaction than it is if you're facing a team from the other side there, the NL, right? So I think for the Jays, the biggest competition is going to be the Orioles, not from the sense of talent-wise, like they're a good team, but it's more so the fact that you got to play them so many more times and they're so in the standings. Like those are just the key wins you got to put in the back pocket, right? Versus, the Athletics are pretty far down in the standings. If I remember correctly, like you lose a couple to them and say, yeah, it hurts, but it's not as key to you if you're facing a team that's got that wild card spot ahead of you.
100%. And 2 more series in the month of September. It's going to be awesome, including their second last series of the season. So that could be absolutely massive when we get there. Tyson, thanks so much for doing this today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. Tyson Truskowicz of Jays Nation, also Canadian Baseball Network. Give him a follow on X at Tyson_MLB. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll be joined by former NHLer co-host Terry Ryan, who joins us every Tuesday and Thursday. But first, a Sports 1440 update with Declan Kruger, brought to you by Go Auto. Shop over 17,000 vehicles with GoAuto.ca and 31 new vehicle brands, 73 locations to choose from. Find your car at GoAuto.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
MLB action will get going today at 4:35 with the Yankees and the Orioles, Tigers and Pirates, Marlins and Phillies, Giants and Guardians, Cardinals and Reds, and of course the Jays and Rays all up at 4:40 in the Jays and Rays game. It will be Soriano on the mound. Late game today in the MLB, we'll see the Dodgers and Rockies at 6:40. 4 games today in the WNBA. Getting going at 5 o'clock, we'll see the Sparks and the Sun, as well as the Fever and the Tempo. Then at 7 is the Liberty and the Sky, as well as the Dream and the Aces. News from around the sporting world today as ESPN co-founder Bill Rasmussen died at 93 due to effects of Parkinson's. Elsewhere in the football world, Trey Ford taking first-team reps at Ticats practice. And in the NFL, Roger Goodell has said no doubt an NFL team will eventually be based outside of the U.S. Seattle Seahawks still planning on signing Terrion Arnold, and the Giants have signed Najee Harris. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Hey, hon, I'm getting expressions and images to frame my hockey card collection in the man cave.
Perfect. I'll come with you and bring our wedding photos. For sports memorabilia and family treasures, think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
crispy caramelized edges, a pillowy, airy center. Meet the new Papa John's Pan Pizza. Made with Parmesan and Romano cheeses, Papa John's special garlic sauce, and Italian seasoning, all baked directly into the bottom of the crust for a signature golden finish and crispy, savory crunch. Grab a medium pan pizza for just $16.99 today at your local Papa John's. Order now in the app or at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluid.
Just after 3 o'clock, welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight, you got the Lotto Max, 50 mil. Tomorrow, the Lotto 649, $14 million. And you can also head over to the sports section. Check out the Jason Gregor Show special, boosted as usual. Declan and I each got a pick in there. Check it out. Remember, though, to use your game sense. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan, and young Connor, the intern, with you here. Text line is 1-833-401-1440. As we bring in our co-host, former NHLer, actor, podcaster, Hall of Famer, and more. Terry Ryan joins us. Did we lose TR? Oh, we might have lost TR there. He's back. TR, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm all right. Good to be with you. Sorry, I lost my bearings there for a second. And, you know, it's summertime, so everybody has different schedule, but mine are way off. I can't wait to get back on for a couple hours. but at least I got an hour here today. It's just been really hectic, man. I'm sure for everybody, but I'm in Newfoundland. I'm traveling a lot. My daughter's mom, we're on great terms, but she's from Alberta and she moved back for work. So she's coming over tomorrow. We're excited, but there's a lot to be doing.
I can only imagine. Yeah. Well, we're glad to have you making up an hour to hop us on the show here today and take a look around the sporting world a little bit. I will tell you, we got a new TV in our living room where we watch, and, welcome to the year 2015. It's a smart TV. So we've got Crave connected to the TV. So I've been rewatching Shoresy, and I just want to ask a few questions on, my personal fandom. When you're not recording or not shooting, are you typically on set or are you back at the hotel? Like, what are you doing throughout the workday when you guys are shooting?
That's a great question. I've never asked Jared, who plays Shoresy, of course, Jared Kiso, and he runs, everything goes through him. He writes almost every word. It's, it's project for a long time. So he has a plan, and we trust that. I've never really, but he usually, if most of us, myself, guy who plays Andrew Anson, who plays Goody, Jonathan Diaby plays Dolo, and Michael's Ryan McDonald. So we're in a lot of scenes together, especially the first few I mentioned. So we've gotten used to planning our days around. The gyms are not always in the scenes with us. They are probably half the time, maybe a little less. Once in every 5 or 6, we're in with the girls. So anything happening if we're not in the scene, I'm getting to your question. If we're not in the scene, we're generally not there. And I kind of like it like that. Like a lot of times we'll be at the rink and we'll finish maybe a scene with Fish or something that happened and the girls are going to do theirs outside, but I don't always stay I don't even really want to know, especially when he's chirping Corey and Liam. And just great guys that we've come to know. And I love those scenes. And I'm like you, I want to see them. So I won't even read that part of the script. I know I'm not in it. I don't think it's going to screw with the context too much. I want to know what's going on. But so there's that. So when I go and we see our scenes and we shoot out of order. So, there's a lot going on there too. It just depends when we can get these buildings, the locations, not always buildings. It could be outside. The weather, we did the last season, it was outdoors and, kind of the weather got really warm there and we were doing outdoor hockey. So we ended up getting through it. But so it can change. But generally, we go in. Jared, I've never asked him these things, but much like hockey, once you get to like midget, I believe, I didn't play midget, but I assume, but when you get to junior, you get in there and the younger guys come in. And it's not always like picking up the pucks on the ice like people think. It's often getting there early with coffee and donuts and talking about the night before, whatever that might have brought. Or if you got a big game coming. Mm-hmm. And with us, it'll be the same sort of thing with the scene coming or what happened the night. And so Jarrett likes to have those organic moments, and a lot of times they end up in the show. So our day often starts a little bit earlier than it would if I was here doing Hudson and Rex or something. And again, I think it's because he wants that organic feeling. We're often doing it in a dressing room while we're putting on our gear. It's easy to get into character. And then if we, like I said, we're in every episode, but we're in most scenes, but not all. So usually if we have enough off in a row, he'll give us the Friday or the Monday, and generally we'll go to Toronto, maybe taking a Jays game if that's happening, maybe Leafs or something. I love Sudbury, but we get a few. It's about 3 hours, so generally we plan it like that. Like if we're gonna go in and we're gonna, take in a show, or we're gonna, just anything that involves a little bit of travel. We go on road trips within the road trip, so to speak. But yeah, each day, and to finish that, I know it's a long, rambling answer, but there's a lot that goes into it. But we really, at the very beginning, I remember Jared saying, I expect you guys to act professionally here. And, he never really said it, but it was implied that we don't come in, after having a late night the night before. Yeah. And, the least we can do is know our lines. Now, we have a lot, and our scenes go on much longer than any other show I've been on. A long scene on Hudson and Rex is 6 pages, or Son of a Critch, or Republic of Doyle, or Frontier, or any of those. With Jason Momoa, with whoever, it rarely goes beyond 6-7 pages. And we frequently do them over 20, and often do them over 30. So you really got to know that. So we spend a lot of time going over those with each other. And then finally, if there's time, often during the week, there might be a little bit of leeway at night and we'll hit a movie together or something. But we hang out together. Not every show do the actors do that, but we're like a hockey team.
I was watching the most recent season, and there's this scene with kind of the management team and Shoresy talking about scheduling the game against it's a lot of Dutch names.
Yes.
And, like the way they just rattle them off. I mean, the acting is incredible, but I was curious, how did they do that? And how many takes would it take? Because one little slip, I got some of the names. You had Klumpenhauer, Blankenbiller, de Barteleiden, Schwotengardner. They rattle off about like 10 to 15 names of these at a time. Don't mess them up and don't laugh. Like if there's an outtakes of that scene, I would love to see it because that scene is just incredible.
Yeah, and there's going to be some outtakes. It took them a lot. Like we knew that was coming. I wasn't at we were somewhere in the arena for that, or on set actually, because it doesn't all happen in the arena. We had an exact replica made out in, oh God, I forget the name of the place, but it's Cape Real. It's maybe a half hour outside of Sudbury. And we have like a replica arena and dressing room and all that because, sometimes things go out of order and we can't always go in. The Sudbury Wolves or Sudbury 5 might be playing. That's a real team, the basketball team. For that scene, I remember the girls. I can't always speak for them, but once in a while when the stars align and we all are off at the same time, we'll go for dinner. Maybe once a week where we all have it's 6 or 7 o'clock. Okay, let's hit the keg or wherever. And I know that they were doing that for weeks. Like when we got there, they were, like Dillenheimer, Schling, like they were going through the whole thing together, and they would look like before the meal, during, afterwards. So I'm thinking by the time they did that, they probably did it hundreds of times. I know that Tassia Tellis, who plays Nat, the GM, she's a very accomplished actress, and just within the industry, she's real good. There's a reason that they're successful actors, and but Ryan McDonnell, right, and the other girls as well, and some guys on there. But like Jonathan Torrens is in the show, for example. I've never met him. People laugh at that, but we're not in those scenes. Like, so RA comes from Chicklets, but we go out of our way to say, hey, stay for a couple hours and maybe a day and come over and see us. But otherwise, we wouldn't. They're on like the other side of the city. They're a half hour away. I would never come in contact if we didn't try to. Not that I get anything against Torrens, but he just comes in and does scenes for like 1 day or two, rattles them all off, and then he's gone. So that happens. But with the girls, and Michaels, we're in a lot of scenes together. So Ryan and Tassia were probably two of the more accomplished actors on the set. And at the very first day they came in, and I was experienced in working on set. As an actor, I'd done stunts and like one-offs. I never had a monologue. I never spoke. Even when I was a main character in a show, A Fire in the Cold Season, I'm a real badass looking guy and talking guy. I'm just a badass dude in it, but I don't speak much. That's part of the shtick of this guy. So I hadn't had much experience remembering lines, and now all of a sudden we got to remember like books at a time. So they really helped us out. Without getting into it, there are certain tricks, and the most obvious is go over it. So, leading up to a scene, if we know it's going to last, it's a long scene, then we'll get together weeks before it. Now, the advantage with us, again, I've worked on a lot of shows as crew, nothing against them. The actors aren't as tight. I've never seen a show that they're as tight. We all request to stay in a hotel. Like we could, a lot of actors go and stay in Airbnbs, or, they want certain hotels a certain way, not always luxurious, but sometimes but we just go whatever's available. So like, whatever it is, like if what's available this week, give us 10 rooms in a row, all good. Like, we treat it like a hockey team. So we're always together in all the off time. Like even if we don't want to be, we're running to, we'll go down to use the hot tub. Oh, there's Kaylani. Like, so I know that we really riff off each other. If I didn't have them, it would be a lot harder. When I'm around here and I get a role, it happens. I'm going to be in Son of a Critch here real soon. And it's more of a personal thing. Just, you're doing your own thing. I can get it done. But with us, I think as the show evolves, you can even see it. Like we're laughing during because we've done it so much. The first year we didn't even know each other, so all of that got given to us. So we're trying to interpret it. How does Jarrett want this? I like Letterkenny. I was trying to kind of, and while we were doing it, he goes, it's a different show. It's a different show. You're doing it all right. But he goes, it's a different show. You'll see. And then when we saw it, of course, and then all got to know each other, now we go into the scene and we're almost laughing before it starts. And everybody's kind of waiting to see how I'm going to twist up the lines and, with the chirps and all of that. So when I say me, because my character gets to twist the lines to be Newfoundlandese as you speak a little bit, but I don't change them or anything. But anyway, that's it. We're just a tight group, and it's a very unique experience on set.
Yeah, and I mean, like you guys coming to that show, in the show, you guys are meeting each other. Maybe not for the first time, but you're not as close as you become. You see, like other TV shows, use The Office, for example. You can tell through the seasons how much they grow together, despite the fact, even in season 1, they would have been working together for a while. Now, my question for you, because you talk about the earlier seasons, and I think we could do this probably in every profession, whatever you do. If I went back looked at the show that I hosted, 6 years ago, it'd be, oh, this is kind of cringy. This is tough. Have you ever gone back and, seen how much you've grown as an actor going back to season 1?
Yeah, I do. And people are going to laugh because I talk so much and I'm always on stage. And, I go into a bar and I jump up singing songs and everything. But I can't stress to you how much I don't like watching myself, because I all I see is someone that needs to improve. Like, all I see is what I'm doing wrong. And that goes right through everything. I watch Shoresy with my daughter and kind of like, I'm often like clenching. I'm just tensing while I'm watching it, because I don't know if that's just something and, just your head, and you're trying to improve on what you do. And, it's just so out there. I got to tell myself, this is successful. It's already been out there. Like, it's all good. But I at least, at the very least, even when it's going well, I find it hard to be objective with me on the screen. But that being said, I have to do it. Otherwise, I would never improve as an actor. So you got to do it. Same thing with my podcast, right? You got to go back and listen, even though I don't want to a lot of the time. So that being said, yeah, I do. And sometimes there's a fine line, or not a fine one, a foggy line between, like, am I just being looser because me and Dolo are buddies after that? Or like the last season, like he just bought me a motorcycle. Is that part of it? Or, the first time coming in, but it kind of follows the show, because it's a lot of it's so organic, because when you see us that first day in the apartment with Big Sexy and he's talking to us all, and, we're calling our parents, and that we'd known each other like not long, like less than a week. And when we came in, we were just skating. And I think Jarrett wanted to make sure that we could all actually play. And Fish 1 got cut. That was another story. We were there, but that's so it works for the show, because it's really authentic. The way that we evolve is really happening. He's got it, that we're a team, and that's really happening. And now we go play those games. So it's almost like when I see it, I see a level of documentary to it. I do, because in my linear order of time, it we are getting to know each other. But yeah, and I'll often have, to go back to your question, I'll often have people here that I respect that have helped me get into the industry. I'll have them watch it. I no matter what, I can't look at it objectively. I think I've done some things on film that I'm proud of. And again, even though we're having fun, you still got to act. Like, I'm proud of Ted Hitchcock. I'm acting up there. I'm doing something. I'm giving him a flavor. But further from the norm, I love the challenges. I was just in a movie recently called Skeet, which got international acclaim. It's box office, not so much, but, it's an independent film, and it did really well. And the other one I mentioned, A Fire in the Cold Season. Those are probably my two favorites that I've done beyond that, because I'm not a hockey player. I'm playing someone that I had to kind of get inside of his mind. And I think it's in all these characters. They're in us. You just got to kind of find it. And I love that exploration of a character, right? So it comes easier with Hitch, but, there are certainly roles that I enjoy that might be out of the comfort zone, like anything, getting traded to a new team or whatever.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Okay, we'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll talk some hockey. We'll head down to Anaheim. Reports out there that Cutter Gauthier rejecting a $13 million AAV deal. The Ducks right now have an estimated $9 million in cap space. So we'll break it all down with Andrew Knoll, covers the team for the LA Daily News. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
What a performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
For all your welding supplies, think AWS Welding. Located in Nisku, their readily stocked storefront carries a wide variety of welding glasses, cylinder rentals, plus welding rod, wire, and consumables. Same-day delivery is always available. And if they don't have it, AWS Welding will find it for you fast. Visit their online store today at awswelding.ca or give them a call or text at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. They make it happen.
When it comes to sports in Edmonton, Jason Gregor is a must-listen. He brings you the inside scoop with guests from across North America. If it matters in sports, you'll hear it here first. Gregor rolls out weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports 1440.
Kickoff is coming August 21st. Elks, Blue Bombers at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. It's Country Night presented by Innova. Dust off that Canadian tuxedo and bring the honky tonk to the field. Get your tickets at goelks.com/tickets.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Now's the time to shop the Bricks 0% event. Get what you need today with absolutely $0 down. Pay nothing with no interest until 2028. Or choose 36 equal monthly payments on qualifying purchases. Plus, save up to 25% on living room furniture, up to 20% on dining and bedroom furniture, and up to 40% on select mattresses. Hurry into the Brick today. These incredible offers are only on until August 19th. The Brick, saving you more.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing, or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to robertsonbodyworks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
Any project, big or small, when you need metal cut to your exact measurements fast, count on Metal Supermarkets. A warehouse bursting at the seams with inventory. Plus metal bending, drilling, punching, notching, plasma cutting, welding, even delivery. Endless possibilities. Now imagine what they can do for you.
How about a garage shelf?
Think bigger, my friend.
2 garage shelves?
There you go.
I live on the edge.
The local convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Employee pricing is back at Nisku Ford. Pay the same as Ford Motor Company employees. Plus, get the benefits of being a Nisku Ford customer. You'll have the best selection of new Ford vehicles from our great lineup of SUVs, from Bronco Sports and Explorers right up to the Ford Expedition, and Ford trucks from the Ford Maverick, Ranger, F-150, and Super Duty. Ford employee pricing is the biggest event on the Nisku Ford calendar. But hurry, it won't last forever, and inventory is limited. Take advantage of employee pricing today at Nisku Ford. Above expectations.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
if your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
if you've decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
and with no payments, no interest for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. We treat pain and injuries head to toe and some other issues that might surprise you, like incontinence, vertigo, neuropathy, and cognitive issues. We invest in the technology, techniques, skills, and people who know how and what to fix. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Connor Halley, former NHLer Terry Ryan. We got Kruger, McLennan, young Connor in studio here on this show, rolling through this Tuesday afternoon. Right now, we'll go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. The most wanted menu items from around the world have landed in Canada. You can now make the McDonald's World Menu Heist at select restaurants. Hurry in before you have to give them back, only at McDonald's, as we're going to go around the NHL and take a look at the Anaheim Ducks and what has been going on for them this offseason as Andrew Knoll joins us, covers the team for the LA Daily News. Andrew, good afternoon. How are things going?
Going great. How about yourself?
Oh, doing good. Really appreciate you making some time to join us here on the show. Of course, the big story yesterday out of Anaheim, and it came from Paul Shahino, I believe covers the team or is a reporter with the NHL Network, that Cutter Gauthier had rejected an offer, 4 years, $13 million AAV. Of course, he had a spectacular season last year, and when Leo Carlsson gets that offer sheet, maybe the price goes up. Per Puckpedia, the Ducks do have $9 million in cap space, but just wanted to get your thoughts on the report of that offer and it being turned down by the Gauthier camp.
Well, I think the question that, certainly our readers have been asking when they get fan mail is, why is this taking so long? Why is this dragging out? The reasons are manifold. I mean, the first thing is that it really doesn't matter if he signs tomorrow or a day before training camp for any kind of logistical purposes. There's absolutely nothing going on right now. And Pat Verbeek said as much back in July when the Carlson situation got resolved. He said, I've got between now and essentially the middle of September to get this figured out and resolved. So I don't know how much temporal urgency there is. It is also a very delicate negotiation in the sense that the Ducks have a ton of leverage for the upcoming season. That's certainly true because Gauthier is not eligible to sign an offer sheet. He effectively is unilaterally negotiating with the Ducks. However, he's clearly a big piece of their team moving forward. They would like to get some term. And even if they say, all right, well, we'll do a one-year deal and then revisit it, that could leave a pretty sour taste in his mouth. So I think they're trying to find a fair deal for both sides. That is understandably difficult under the circumstances, as you mentioned, the limited cap space, the high value of Gauthier. And of course, this Carlson deal had an effect league-wide and certainly within the organization.
So how much wiggle room is there, if the Gauthier camp wants more money? And then how much would the Ducks be willing to give? And how do they create that space, more importantly?
Well, that's another kind of question with many facets because on one hand, you still have the 10% cushion right now. You're operating under that during the off season. And then once the season starts, it's very likely that Troy Terry will go on long-term injured reserve because he is dealing with the hip issue. It required a surgical procedure. He won't be back until around the turn of the calendar year. So they have means of exceeding the cap and figuring this out in what we'll call the short and medium term for the upcoming season. But sometime around December or January, Terry, who's also a big part of their team, will return, and that flexibility will evaporate. So the most likely scenario is that they end up having to trade a veteran winger, which is interesting because when they traded Mason McTavish at the draft, that felt like luxury cap space that they were getting, an ELC back for a $7 million player, and they seem to have so much. And now, not only was that necessary, they will probably have to jettison another roster player, and you look at candidates, most likely being Frank Vetrano, Alex Killorn, or Chris Kreider, or some combination, two of those three, depending on how expensive this gets and what else they want to do. They'll have some level of trade protection, but not NMCs. So, the other factor there is that they have the foresight to realize they'd be in this position. They probably could have gotten value for at least one of those guys. And now, having lost leverage vis-a-vis the trade market, they may have to, grease up the deal with a pick or something like that to shed one of those contracts. So yeah, I think you will see them lose at least one veteran winger as a result of this process.
Andrew, by my count, there's 4 regular D that are not going to be there this year, that have moved on or been traded or whatever. So do you think that's cause for concern?
Well, yes and no. So, but I hate to ride the fence, but I mean, on one hand, they did have an immense amount of depth on defense. When you look at it, they used, I think, 10 different defensemen last year, 9 of them in the playoffs. So they have a pretty heavy numbers game. In addition to that, they also have Stan Solberg, who's pretty close to ready, Noah Warren, who's very physically mature and has been decent at the minor league level. So they have a lot of young guys, but what they lack is experience and, a clear, cohesive set of 6 guys that they're going to use regularly. So, on one hand, they technically have less experience on the blue line than they did in 23-24 when they had a pretty disastrous season. Then they had Cam Fowler, then they had Gudis. They don't have any guys above 25 right now on the blue line other than Nick Jensen, whom they brought in as a depth signing. At the same time, a lot of those same guys are more mature now. They have another 3 seasons of experience, Lacombe and Chukov. So we'll see. But I do think that a lack of depth on the blue line, a lack of experience on the blue line is now become a concern, where before it was a strong suit. However, they do have guys that appear ready to step in, like Tristan Lena and possibly Tyson Hines as well.
So Anaheim are an interesting team because in recent history, they were bottom dwellers, close to, and they've really improved in a short amount of time. So if on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being we're in develop mode, 10 being win now mode, where do you think they feel? And I guess publicly, what do people think? What do Ducks fans, the Ducks organization, where would you think you are in the, 1 being developed, 10 being win now?
I would say that the number is lower now than it was in May. Let's put it that way. I mean, whatever you would have assessed at that point when they were in the second round of the playoffs, you're like, okay, now they're kind of ahead of schedule. Maybe they were at a 7 at that point. Now they're probably back to a 4 or 5. This is kind of a recalibration and reassessment year, thanks to a number of different developments. I mean, the trade of McTavish is one. He was a guy who was a, cornerstone-ish player, at least, that was supposed to be hitting his stride and going into his prime. They end up trading him for an 18-year-old. So that obviously is a move back. We talked about the blue line. I think the interesting thing all along the way, Verbeek had a really rare level of clarity and focus in what he was doing. I mean, you see other GMs that got hired around the time he did, like Steos and Briere and Conroy. They were all doing things like, okay, we're gonna try and get a little younger, but we're also locking up our core guys and maybe some guys in the unit. No, the Ducks were purely cutting up the cadaver and donating the organs. I mean, 100% they were oriented toward keeping costs low, stockpiling futures, all that sort of thing. He did a masterful job of that. But now that it's gone the other direction, starting last summer, where it's, you're getting bridge guys, you're refining things, you're trying to compete, you're moving closer toward the cap. The calculus has changed considerably, and given the cost of Carlson, the cost of Minchukov, losses they sustained in free agency in the trade market, the team definitely got younger, and the expectations for this season, at least, I think are probably lower than they were in the spring and maybe even heading into last season.
Andrew Knoll of the LA Daily News joining us here, taking a look at the Anaheim Ducks. It is the Jason Gregor Show, Connor Halley and Terry Ryan with you here. And we won't even worry about the financials for this next player, but I think Oilers fans got a really good look at Beckett Seneca and what he can do. What do you think the outlook is for him this upcoming season? As a rookie, 60 points and 23 goals. He's got the size. He moves around out there. I think he has that tenacity you want as well. What are you looking forward to seeing from him this season?
Just continued development. I think he has really tried to work on his skating, tried to work on his puck skills. and tried to work on his body and kind of put all three of those elements together in terms of strength, mobility, and making plays as a result of those two areas coming up. So I think in terms of confidence, in terms of daring, when they talk about things like verve and guile in soccer, he's got those in spades. He's a very, very confident, assertive player, and he has the skills for that to translate into production. So I think especially with them probably leaning on him a little bit more this year and him being a known commodity and having another summer to work on his body, he should take a pretty big step forward. And obviously he was already ahead of schedule last season, as you mentioned.
And Andrew, one more before we let you go here. Just want to ask you about that Pacific Division. Obviously the Oilers, Golden Knights, and Ducks top three last season. Do you think that's how it shakes out as the three playoff teams in the Pacific, or do you think we could see a change?
We really have to see this Ducks defense and how it operates on the ice. I mean, it was not their strong suit last season. So maybe getting guys that are mostly around the same age and can all skate will be a net positive, or maybe the inexperience will sink them. So I think they're the most volatile of those three teams, but you don't have a lot of pressure from underneath either. San Jose obviously rounded out their club with some veterans that they're hoping will make an impact. There's no big star in there, but there's guys that will give them functional pieces. At the same time, the Kings got even older, and their blue line's a big question mark. They've got a number of question marks at center, maybe in goal too. So, I mean, I think the opportunity is definitely there for the Ducks to return to the playoffs, but it's not a lock.
Andrew, thanks so much for doing this today.
Oh, my pleasure.
There you go. Andrew Knoll covers the for the LA Daily News, the Anaheim Ducks. And it's going to be interesting. TR, what a headache that must be, for the management team. Like, you get put in such a tough situation, and, people argue it was their own doing when you don't lock up Leo Carlsson earlier. But that $18 million offer sheet kind of opens the door. Now Cutter Gauthier maybe wants a little bit more when they just don't have that money. You start to look back at some of the deals that were handed out by this team. It's got to be quite the frustrating situation for the Ducks.
Yeah, and that mistake really, and it was. They should have had him locked up, but usually it doesn't come back to bite you like this because it changed the whole landscape of the organization, and I would say in a small way the league. That was so far out of left field from Philly. And now what are you going to do, right? Now you just the cap's going up, but it handcuffed you by like $10 million if you're going to have to give, because you're going to have to give Gauthier more now, right? So, and if you're Carlson, you were hoping you were coming in, I guess, hoping to sign a contract. I'm supposing 13 or 14, would have been rich. And you're getting 4 and 5 more a year than you expected. I mean, of course you're going to be happy about it, but it really does throw off the dynamic of the team. And that's it. You live and die by your mistakes. They're not totally up. They got talking to Andrew. I kind of agree. Like, they are. Let's just say on D, they're missing 4 regulars. That stood out to me all summer. I'm like, guys like that, it's tough. That 1 or 2 is one thing, but they are pretty deep, and they got people that they need to come in now, and it's time to play and step up, and they did add some. And I just think they're a curious case because of everything that's happened. They've added some, like, I find even pickups like AJ Greer, I find that really intriguing because he's a bit of an antagonist, finishes his hits. He was there but last year he had 17 goals. Mm-hmm. So and it's probably because guys were out and he got a chance to play, and you're looking at him, he won a cup, so you would have added him just for that reason, on a team that needed experience, and he's always going to go out and try hard. But you had 17 goals, and who knows, maybe if I was thinking a guy like that, top 9, maybe 4th, you're looking at that, and maybe who knows, he's a little bit older, but maybe he can build on that. I just find all of it, it's really unpredictable. And that's why I asked him that question, where do you see yourself on that spectrum? Because, I mean, it's such a broad spectrum for those guys. Like anything can happen to any team. But I just find so many intriguing situations there that, like the Blue Jays, last year, like what's going to happen? You see last year they went right to the World Series, Game 7, extra innings. And this year they start with largely the same team. And you might, some injuries and some guys picked a bad time to have an off year. I know, but it did happen with the same players. So, like, you're coming in, I get it. Andrew's like, I don't know, with some more experience, some of these guys might be great. Gregor might get 20. I know, right? And it's so intriguing because, everything would have to go right for a team that's total bottom of the basement and just to string together some wins. Chicago makes the playoffs by 10 points. Wow, it's kind of, but with these guys, I don't know. Like, I could be looking at you in 8 months from now, they could be well into a playoff spot and say, God, I should have seen that coming, or it could be the other way around. And I know that's me jumping the fence here a little bit, but I'm just saying, or at least straddling the fence. But I just mean it. I find them really intriguing because I have no idea what to tell you about the Anaheim Ducks. None. And by that being said, now their highest paid player, okay, it's all good. It's happened. We've all agreed he's a prospect. He's real good. We're more than a prospect. He's one of the best up-and-coming players in the game. Okay, but he still didn't have a point a game, so let's see it. He still didn't have 70 points. So if Karlsson doesn't have a good year, then more so than ever, it all kind of stems from that. So intriguing is probably the wrong word, but for me, I'm looking at that. It's either a house of cards that's ready to just fall over, and if it does, then they're going to clean house, at least with management, or they could really be onto something, and their young players that could take them to the promised land and beyond.
Yeah, it's a crazy story because even if they avoid the offer sheet, you could have given him $15 million. We all would have said, "Wow,
yeah,
a little more." But okay, they got him, and then you have that leftover money for Cutter Gauthier, and this is a non-issue. You got two, your top two scorers locked up, and they're under the age of 22. But instead, you wait, and it doesn't work out that way. And I really thought that NHL general managers would have learned a lesson from the Edmonton Oilers just a couple of years ago with Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg, but apparently not.
If I'm a GM, that's the one thing I do. Like, first of all, you want to keep your job. It's all good team and everything, but you want to keep your job, right? I love about hockey or sports in general, but hockey is a player. Same thing in management, though. It's a team game, and you want but you want to keep your job. So the first thing I would be thinking is what's some easy ways I can lose my job? Some easy ways that anybody can do. I can play PlayStation and manage a team better than that. So, you've got to figure that part out, I would think. Now, who am I to sit here and throw stones? But that's a big miss, and especially in recent history, what happened to the Oilers with Broberg and Holloway, and their success, like, immediately. It didn't just happen, and 4 years later. Remember that? It's like immediate, and same conference, all of it, and you just didn't. It's going to happen. It's, if nothing else, a lesson for any other, GMs in the future.
Yeah. Pay them early. Trust that you drafted them for a reason, and then laugh afterwards. But I got to think the Ducks fans are probably laughing when it happened to the Oilers, and now it's right back the other way. TR, we'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll get to the Oil Report. I want to talk culture and what might shift with the new head coach in the Edmonton Oilers. It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Oodle noodle origin.
In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the new world. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as
Oodle Noodle.
Tee up for a great day on the course and support the Stony Plain Eagles Senior Men's Hockey Club. It's the Stony Plain Eagles Golf Tournament. Gather your foursome and join the Eagles August 25th at the Links at Spruce Grove for a 2 p.m. shotgun start. Enjoy a fantastic afternoon of golf, great company, and friendly competition, all while supporting the Stony Plain Eagles. Get all the details and register today at stonyplaineagles.com.
Albertans love to debate the best way to enjoy summer sports.
No. Playing on the field is the best, man.
No way. Watching from the sidelines, way more relaxing.
You're both crazy. Checking out the game from the Bro Zone is where it's at.
But there's one thing every sports fan agrees on.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
Wherever you catch the action, load up on Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of CanTorque. CanTorque has always been a forward-thinking company, but now that we've turned 25, I can't help but take a minute to take a look back. Thank you to everyone that's been with us along the way.
The Chicken Parmy Burger, McExtreme Pulled Pork, Garlic and Black Pepper Chicken McNuggets, Cheesy Bacon McFlavor Fries, and the Stroop Waffle McFlurry. You've scrolled them, you've screenshotted them, you've never been able to order them until now. This is the McDonald's World Menu Heist. The most wanted menu items taken from around the world, now in Canada. Get them while you can. For a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation Mighty Millions Lottery VIP deadline is midnight Friday. Get in now for the power play and $75K VIP prize. Imagine taking your seat as the Oilers hit the ice, hearing the roar of the crowd with every goal, every save, every moment all season long. Plus, score $75,000 and be in to win the $2.4 million grand prize show home in Cameron Heights. VIP deadline is midnight Friday. Change lives. Win big. Be mighty. Buy now at MightyMillionsLottery.com.
Ready to upgrade your ride this spring? Come on down to the Golf Cart People. They're a family-owned and operated business that's been serving the community since '97. Whether you're looking for a brand new or quality pre-owned cart, a rental for a special event, they do that too. The Golf Cart People have a huge selection of parts and accessories, and their expert service team is here to keep you rolling. The Golf Cart People, your one-stop shop for everything golf cart. Visit golfcartpeople.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by eWell. Helping you finish your electrical project is their goal. From pot lights to electrical panels, the gear you need is at ewell.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. ewell.ca, your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight's Lotto Max, $50 million. Check out get your ticket. Check it out. PlayAlberta.ca. Connor Halley, Terry Ryan with you here as we get into the oil report brought to you by Go Auto, who's donated more than $27.2 million to local charities and take pride in supporting the communities where they live and do business. GoAuto.ca. And TR, earlier on in the show, we were talking some CFL and just how the Edmonton Elks have changed so much in the last couple of years with someone coming in and leading the way. And it starts at the top. And of course, the Thompson family bought the team a couple of years ago. They bring in Chris Morris, who obviously hires Ed Hervey, who hires Mark Killam. And on and off the field, things are changing and it looks a whole lot better. A lot less dysfunctional. Let's say that. For the Edmonton Oilers now, a new head coach comes in. It starts off with little controversy. Will he be approved to get back into the NHL? But Mike Babcock is the new head coach of the Oilers. I want to ask you, when it comes to setting that culture and a winning culture, which he has done before in the NHL and at the Olympics, what do you think changes with Babs coming in here?
Like on the Oilers specifically this season with him coming in? First of all, without dissecting the whole curiousness of the choice and dwelling on anything negative that he's done, if I know one thing about Mike Babcock, it's that he's not an idiot. He's a fairly smart guy. So he knows. And I know people say, well, he knew in Columbus. Okay, whatever. I'm just, right now, the stakes are as high as they've ever been. He knows it. He's as vulnerable as he's ever been. And smart people that are good coaches that realize they're in a vulnerable position and gotta be I mean, I don't want to be counting people's last chances, but it's got to be close to his last chance. I think I can say that pretty confidently. And I think the dynamic might work out better than people think, because another couple people I don't think are idiots, I think are smart, are Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And Mike Babcock brings elements that the Oilers need. There's no doubt. We know that, right? We know that. And I had a rough experience with a coach. I've talked about Michel Therrien. But for me to look at it objectively, I got to look past all that. And you know, and there was a lot of similarities, because Michel was a real smart hockey guy. And I talk about him, you know, my relationship, often from my point of view, as in, well, it got to be my point of view, but, you know, as in like the way I looked at him and the way he poisoned my worldview. But I didn't really ever go in and you know, I wasn't mature about it. I wasn't. And had I been, because whenever there were conversations, I mean, he coached me for 2 full years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And camps and everything. So, and I remember the negative stuff stands out, but I remember seeing, you know, under that layer, there's a smart guy that some of this is an act. He's trying to intimidate us. And in his mind, that works. Like, and it did work. He won the Memorial Cup. It was the first time that Q had won it in like over 2 decades. Like it, and he was part of that. And I can honestly say, on the ice, whenever I look beyond that stuff, and he wasn't being a dictator of sorts, you'd see a real smart hockey mind there that you know, that did help our team. We went to the semifinals with him. His methods were crazy old school and oftentimes barbaric, but he wouldn't have got there just on that. He knew the fuse to light in me. He just went about writing it the lighting it the wrong way. I thought it was ignorant, but you know, and whenever he brought it, like his ideas were really advanced. I remember him coming up with some things that now are normal. And maybe if he didn't come up with them, like, you know, picking it up behind the net and then throwing it back to the guy who's behind you, like on the power play,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and getting that momentum and kind of to neutralize, you know, that neutral zone, kind of standing across the line and getting it in. And I probably wasn't his idea, but we were definitely one of the first teams using it. Power play, the umbrella, the way they do that. I just remember he was willing, so willing to use new methods and, you know, take the game to these new frontiers. And yet when it came to the off ice stuff, he was acting like Ty Cobb. I don't understand it. Right. And so what my point is that Michel Therrien, I don't know. I didn't talk to many people since. He ended up going up to the NHL and he was fairly successful with the odd blip. But I think the same thing for him. Like if I met him now, I think, met up with him now, met him before, obviously. I think you might see a guy that's at least a little bit improved the way he treated people. And Mike Babcock, again, just look past those incidents that got so much public outcry, and you see a guy who's taken a group of similar players, right, with grinders and stars, and I could say Detroit. I might even go on to Team Canada by saying, you know, he's won with similar setup. And I mean, not everybody can handle superstars, but these superstars, it seems to me, that either reached out or thought that they saw some positive in there that can help their team. Another thing I know about the Oilers, or at least I assume watching, like they're a tight group. The nucleus that when you don't go to the Stanley Cup final twice, you know how hard. Like, think of all the joy that you see people celebrating with the Cup with Game 7. It's just as emotional the other way. You still go through it when you lose. You might not be as inspirational, and you might not look back with as big of a smile, but you go through it together, and that's a human thing. So these guys are tight, and I would go. I'm saying Connor and Leon, but I would think they probably shared their sentiments with other guys on the team. I mean, I don't know what goes on, but to make that kind of a move, it's a conscious decision that I would think everybody that's really important, the nucleus of the team, one way or the other, has to be on. And you know, at first I reacted like everybody else, but the more I think about it, it's crazy, but I think, well, you know what? We'll see, because the last 2 of the last 3, or if not the 3 years, the Oilers' recent history are notoriously bad starters. Those years they went to the Cup final, I remember them losing early in the year to like 8-2 to San Jose when San Jose were the bottom of the barrel without exception. And, they went like 2-8 or something. I don't remember, but it was, so who knows? If we have a better start, it's immediate improvement, right? You can see some tangible evidence right off the bat. So I don't think we're too far removed from seeing that. And I hope when media ask him questions and his availability at the end of the game, I hope we don't dwell on that stuff. I hope now that page is turned, and if he screws up again, fine. But let's just forge into the future, and hope that people can now address this situation like a coach coaching a bunch of great players, and that stuff doesn't get brought up anymore. And if those guys, if Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and company thinks he deserves another chance, then who the hell am I to say he doesn't from over here in St. John's, Newfoundland? And for that reason, I think you might be in for a little bit of a surprise. I think it could definitely sway things in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it plays out getting going here shortly. I mean, Zach Hyman, Kasperi Kapanen obviously played under him with the Maple Leafs, and Kapanen had some good years. But for me, I think I started to sway a little bit with Jason Dickinson and Connor Murphy returning. Like, they didn't have to, right? That could have been a move that determined enough to leave and go check out free agency, but that wasn't enough. So maybe it was the words of McDavid and Draisaitl or Hyman, or speaking to the new coach, but they see something there. So it's going to be a storyline to follow all year long. And, that coaching hire immediately makes the Oilers one of the more intriguing teams, on top of having some of the best talent in the world. TR, thanks for joining us today for this hour. What's on the schedule for the rest of your night?
Tonight I'm going to play, I'm going to go eat supper. I'm going to play a little bit of MLB 26 with my buddies. Actually out in Calgary, Edmonton, shout out to John Daw and Curtis Foley's in Calgary. We go on and we play a little bit of 3-on-3 co-op, which I love doing. And so I try to make space for that, or an album each night, do something that takes my mind off of everything. But tomorrow morning, flying out early, we got hockey night in Brampton. It's raising money for a children's hospital in Brampton. Last year, we raised $50 million. I'd say we'll seal the deal this year. I'm not kidding. $50 million. This is the biggest of its kind. Matthews played last year. This year, Morgan Riley's going to play. The Radishes, Dylan Strome, a lot of those guys, Gabranson, a lot of guys that live in Muskoka, the Toronto area. Bunch of the Leafs. There's a few alumni like myself. Getzlaf's playing, Mark Messier. But tomorrow, people know I do a lot of fundraising. Well, tomorrow would be probably the biggest one of the year. There are events that are bigger, weekend events, golf, and then mingle with people, and hockey events that we're playing. But this is one game, one night only. It's in Brampton where the Battalion play, and it's full of positivity. Good friend of the show, Dave McCarthy.
Yeah,
that's where we met in person last year, and I'm sure I'll see him again tomorrow.
Well, he's not hopping on today, but he's going to be on Thursday, so maybe we'll get him en route or something. We'll get a recap for sure. Hopefully, we'll talk to you. If not, though, we totally understand why.
Sounds good. Well, it's been great. I really appreciate it once again. Thank you, Edmonton. Thank you, Declan. Thank you, Connor. And hopefully, we'll talk to you guys in a couple days.
Absolutely. There you go. Terry Ryan, our Tuesday, Thursday co-host here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we got the roundtable. We're going to talk some Bills Mafia, 5 questions, spectator stats of the day. Lots to get to on the show. And I've made a decision. We'll give the tickets away for the Elks game in the 5 o'clock hour. So stick around. We'll do that Friday night's game taking on the Bombers. Right now, though, Sports 1440 update with Declan Kruger, brought to you by HireGood. We solve real problems for businesses while creating real impact. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. Go to hiregood.ca. HireGood, stable jobs create stable lives.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
MLB action around the league will get going in about half an hour's time with the Yankees and the Orioles. Blue Jays will be in action at 4:40 as they're in Tampa taking on the Rays. Jose Soriano on the mound in that one. Late games tonight in the MLB, we'll see the Dodgers and Rockies at 6:40, and a little earlier, the Angels and Astros at 6:10. WNBA action, 2 games at 5 o'clock, the Sparks and the Sun, as well as the Fever and the Tempo. 7 p.m. games, we'll see the Liberty and the Sky and the Dream and the Aces. Trey Ford took first-team reps at the Ticats practice earlier today, while ESPN co-founder Bill Rasmussen has passed away at the age of 93 from Parkinson's. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440. Stingray Radio Station.
CKJR.
Broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit japaequipment.com or stop our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Do you know why people love working at GS Construction? It's honest work. It's work that needs to be done. And we're really good at what we do. That's why GS Construction has been in business for over 50 years. We won't be wearing a top hat and tails, more like hard hat and boots, because we're heading underground to keep the water flowing in and out of your homes and businesses in Edmonton. GS Construction is currently looking for experienced pipe layers and top men. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairie's Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions.
Your all-access pass to the world of sports is Edmonton's only sports radio station.
From pre- and post-game hockey shows to in-depth analysis from your favorite commentators, the action never stops on Sports 1440.
Albertans love to debate the best way to enjoy summer sports.
No. Playing on the field is the best, man.
No way. Watching from the sidelines, way more relaxing.
You're both crazy. Checking out the game from the Bro Zone is where it's at.
But there's one thing every sports fan agrees on.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
Wherever you catch the action, load up on Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of CanTorque. CanTorque has always been a forward-thinking company, but now that we've turned 25, I can't help but take a minute to take a look back. Thank you to everyone that's been with us along the way.
The Chicken Parmy Burger, McExtreme Pulled Pork, Garlic and Black Pepper Chicken McNuggets, Cheesy Bacon McFlavor Fries, and the Stroop Waffle McFlurry. You've scrolled them, you've screenshotted them, you've never been able to order them until now. This is the McDonald's World Menu Heist. The most wanted menu items taken from around the world, now in Canada. Get them while you can. For a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Plan for success in 2027 with help from the Co-op Grow team. With the latest on-farm technology, our agronomists will work with you to gather and interpret soil samples, analyze data, and gain more insight into your fields. We offer local expertise and trusted advice to help you plan your inputs and prepare for the unexpected. Get ready to make data-driven decisions with Co-op Ag Zone Field. Make a successful 2027 crop plan to meet your field's potential. Talk to your Co-op Grow team today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Papa John's is making Tuesdays better. Get 40% off pizzas at regular menu price. Enter the promo code 40Tuesday at the start of each pizza order at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's 4:05. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by playalberta.ca. Tonight's Lotto Max, an estimated $50 million. You can also check out the sports section. Click the Jason Gregor Show special, the Daily Boost. We got a couple selections there for you. remember to use your game sense. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan with you here. 1-833-401-1440 is the text line if you'd like to get in. That was Don Henley, right, Deck? Boys of Summer?
Yeah.
Do you remember when the Ataris did their cover?
What year would that have been?
Oh my goodness. 2000 something?
Yeah, no, not really.
2003. Yeah, you were just a young pup still.
Yeah.
That was where I first hated covers. Like, there can be a good cover.
I heard the best cover of Gordon Lightfoot's something about like You Can Read My Mind or something like that. I heard that out earlier today. It was incredible.
By whom?
No idea, but it was insane. It was so good.
Hate when bands like do a cover. It's like just to kind of get like their name out there. Like, it can be a good cover, but man, for the longest time, Michael Bublé's covers, I was like, come on, man, do something original.
Dude, this is kind of a weird one, but do you remember the artist Carl Wolf? He did a cover of Africa by Toto, and it was like a rap version.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
But then, like, sometimes one lands and it's like, all right, Alien Ant Farm?
Yeah.
Smooth Criminal? Kind of good.
You might have surpassed the original. And the original was a Michael Jackson song.
And when, like, they played homage to him in the video, the kid was doing the moonwalk and dancing like him. Like, there can be some good covers out there, but that one for me, just like, I hated that song, and it almost made me dislike the original for some reason. That's how deep it was. Nonetheless, if you do have any good covers we should check out, let us know. 1-833-401-1440. If there's any that suck, don't tell us. We only want the hits. And especially if you can name the one that Declan just brought up. Doesn't know the original, doesn't know who did the cover, but it would be good to dig into it. Right now, let's keep the show rolling on here. We're at the halfway point. We're going to get to the round table where the producers jump in and share a take. They bring something up and we discuss it on the round table, even though our table's not round. I think Mackenzie's up to go first today, if I recall correctly. Mac, you got anything that's grinding your gears?
I don't know if I'd say like grinding my gears, but I think it's a little weird. So hold on. EA Sports with NHL 26.
Yep.
Yeah. They came out with the first member of the 99 overall club. And obviously it's Connor McDavid. Best player in the world, has been for many, many years. It does feel a little weird that this is the first time that they're giving this out, when last year we can argue that he had more of a down year. Obviously, he still had 100 points, was plus 17 on a pretty not good Oilers team. And if we're just to compare, I think he should have had it in 2023 with 153 points, or the prior 2 years where he just went crazy in the two playoff runs after that.
Nothing, Deck?
Oh, I didn't know it was me first.
Well, it's always you guys first, yeah.
Oh, sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I get confused about the formatting. Yeah, I always thought it was weird how, like, dude, I remember in like I think NHL 12 it might have been for Xbox 360. They had like obviously the all-time team on that one, and Gretzky was there, and I think he was like a 94 overall. And was like, it was the highest rated player in the game, but it was like a testament to the fact that they never give players 99. Now, I do think, like, you guys know me, I'm obviously a basketball guy. The rate inflation that exists in the NBA 2K world is ridiculous. Like, we see way too many players overinflated and just getting ratings they shouldn't. And I know it's a video game, you shouldn't really care, but like, if it's something you spend your free time with and it's something that brings you a lot of enjoyment, you are going to care about those things. And the fact that the NHL, you know, kind of like historically or recent history had gone the other direction and never had a member of the 99 club always seemed like an overcorrection that way. Like, there was no reason to not be ranking Connor McDavid 99 overall, like probably since 2017, but like at least since like 2021, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think it was, and here's the other thing, like, I think there are a couple other guys who could be in that conversation, or at least put them, you know, up there. So
yeah.
I would have him in the 99 overall club.
He and Draisaitl are the only other players above 95, right? With Nathan McKinnon.
That would make those would be the 4. Yeah, so that makes sense. But even I'm surprised they're even above 95 because even back then it was like they would still be a little lower, like 92, 93 kind of area.
Well, the highest Crosby's ever been is 96.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like,
what are we doing here? Well, the NFL is like, okay, we're gonna give everyone 99, and then we're gonna give a little procedure where we give you like a golden shoe or whatever the heck they do for it. I'm glad you brought this one up, Mackenzie, because it has been crazy for a long time. Like, it's good social media boost. I love when they go around to teams and like, oh, well, what do you think about your 12 as a passer? Like, when a kicker has a 12 as a passer, he's like, well, I can throw the football 50 yards. I played quarterback in high school. But the EA people don't come out here and research that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, to me, this is just a way to try to stay relevant. This is a way to try to hit the news cycle. We're seeing the articles pop up with McDavid getting the 99 and being the only member on a year when it was air quotes down. It wasn't his peak performances. But yeah, I think it's just a way for the NHL games to try to stay relevant. I don't know about you guys. I don't know how often you play. I haven't played a game in a while because of all I read is complaints about it online. Even the Madden games. Like, I bought the multi-pack deck, Mackenzie, and it was Madden and college football. So I did my like little player's career. I make my guy go to the NFL. He gets drafted to the Falcons. He's wearing the lamest gear. And I want to try to like just put like a normal colored like wristband on the guy. Won't let me. I have to win points. And then all these other ones, it's like an American flag. I can buy a different helmet. Not even a Falcons helmet. It really just bugs me. I miss the old video games.
Really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think them giving McDavid the 99 is like kind of setting up for Macklin Celebrini to be like on that track? Because he's on the cover this year. And I could see them giving him a similar ranking in a year or two. Obviously, it's too early now, but now that they're like, we've done it once, we can do it again.
A conspiracy by Big Pharma Macklin.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
I'm sure they will. And he's going to probably deserve it too in terms of like a video game rating. So.
Well, like, come on. Like, it shouldn't have taken this long. McKinnon should have multiple 99s. Makar should have one. Crosby, Kucherov, Vasilevsky probably. Like, they shouldn't gatekeep the 99. Good topic. All right, Deck, what do you got?
Ennis Freedom needs to play in the W. No, I'm just kidding. What I wanted to talk to you guys about, and this is going to delve into 5 questions as well, a little bit more specifically, but Bill Rasmussen obviously passed today, co-founder of ESPN, once a very proud network. The fall from grace they've had, and just like in terms of the programming they put out, and moreover, just kind of the effort they put towards everything. Like, it used to be legitimate analysis. It used to be like structured segments. It used to be like trustworthy sporting news. And now it's just kind of turned into like Pat McAfee eating the Pat McAfee burger while he plays his new album in front of 50 DraftKings reads. And then like just the worst hot take artist you've ever seen in your life. And I just kind of wanted to know where you guys kind of come out on the state of ESPN today following the news of Bill Rasmussen's death.
Yeah, I can start. I 100% agree. I think they're really trying to shove Pat McAfee down our throats. And don't get me wrong, like, he's good at what he does. Like, there's a reason he left Barstool to go to ESPN. And there's a reason that they pay him so much money. But it's just, oversaturated now. And I can only listen to a guy yelling into a mic in a wife beater for so much time in the day, unfortunately. So I agree with you, Deck. I think more than Pat McAfee needs to be seen. And there's a lot of talented broadcasters out there that like aren't really getting that shot because he's making so much money.
Yeah, like not even just him, but like we got Kendrick Perkins like running his big mouth up there. We got like Monica McNutt doing a hit in the middle of getting a pedicure. It's like, think back to the Stuart Scott days. Like, do you think any of this would have flew or been okay? Like, not a chance. So just to see where it is now, like, I just think it's such a fall from grace.
Yeah, I would agree with you guys. I've said it before. We getting home, like from my generation, you'd wear us home to watch Around the Horn, which has been canceled, which had like great journalists going on. from around the country, sharing their takes. It was great entertainment. PTIs hung around because I just don't think you can cancel that show. Well,
Those two are just like, yeah,
they're icons, right? Like
untouchable,
they've just done so good for themselves. You can't cut that. But I think ESPN probably is trying to push them out the door. I don't know if you guys saw it, but First Take was doing a tribute to Bill Rasmussen. They cut it off to go to Pat McAfee. I can't believe that. I mean, you could delay it just a little bit. I was a huge Pat McAfee show fan previously. Now I don't get a chance to watch it because obviously we're doing the Frenzy starting at 11 o'clock, which means I'm here by 10 o'clock. But when we were down the dial, I didn't have to roll into work until 12:30. So I would watch it every day. I thought the guest they had was great. And I think it was really cool what they had done, leaving Barstool. They were their own entity. They built up the studio in Indianapolis and, for a long time said, no, we'll never be on ESPN. Now you are. Now you're hearing stories of all these talented journalists and reporters that are being let go to accommodate them and the hot take machine. And that's just one of those things that I just can't stand the most, is that we're doing it just for the clicks. We're saying the most outlandish things just to try to get clicks on social media. It's not good analysis. It's not good breakdown. And it sucks. And for the longest time, we would get to watch, Sports Center in the morning, and they're going through it, and they had those personalities. The real great, talented hosts that they have. Rich Eisen, another one who was great on Sports Center. I'm with you. I don't like necessarily the way this new thing is going. I'd rather be informed, not just trying to get fired up by a hot take. And it's not just ESPN though, right? Like you see it across a lot of different sports platforms, and it is a little discouraging. It has been a drop off, undoubtedly. Oh, MTR. McAfee is a sellout. Hilarious to see all these ESPN guys like Orlovsky praise his incredibly awful album. It's like ESPN told him to do it. Yeah, I tried to listen. I think I got like 16 seconds in. It wasn't the best album. But Honest Ed, not a big fan. Austin Flinaflon, barf emoji about ESPN. Jacob says, once Michael and Tony retire, PTI will be canceled. They won't replace them.
100%.
Yeah, and that's awful. Like those two
should
guys
be me and you afterwards.
Yeah, that'd be the dream. Like it's just such a good show. And if one of them decided to retire first, and you had somebody slide into one of those positions, full time and move on eventually. Heck, it worked with Regis and Kelly or whoever else is in it. Regis and who's before that. They found a way to make it work and keep it going. They should be doing that with PTI because I think that's just one of the best shows out there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't tune in quite as much. I think you can still watch First Take in Canada, but it's not one that I'll be getting into. Pat McAfee show was very good when it was strictly on YouTube. Boston Connor. Who else is at the Toxic Table? You guys watch that show? No?
No.
Oh, you guys were working the other job. Oh, I forget his name. He was he's got some stomach issues from time to time. Big Green Bay Packers fan. Nonetheless, those two guys, very funny. But yeah, it's a little much now.
Really quick, did you see them talking about the Bills nickel jerseys and the way they pronounced Calgary?
No, I didn't. Why'd they talk about Calgary?
They were like, oh, you're looking like the... Oh my gosh, I wish I could remember how he said it, but it was like the most obnoxious pronunciation of it. And I was like, do you guys even know who the Stampeders are? Because...
By the way, did you guys know Pat McAfee's in his 30s?
Really?
Doesn't that just shock you to your core?
I thought he was honestly like late 40s.
Right?
I think we're the same age. So no, it didn't surprise me. Hell of a punter. He's also got a guy, Gump, who is Canadian. So he probably should have stepped in and maybe corrected pronunciation. But too bad. Afternoon, gang. I've said this in a few times here. The internet is ruining the world. ESPN is a perfect example. Cheers, Kings of Fort Nasty. Well, you can watch us on YouTube on the internet, so we're taking advantage of it as well. It's a great way to connect, but unfortunately, it does feel like ESPN is kind of dropping off. Remember the show Stump the Schwab? Did you guys ever watch that one?
Loved that show.
And he passed away, R.I.P. But that was a great one, Mackenzie. That was where this guy was an encyclopedia of sports knowledge, and they'd have sports fans go head to head with him in trivia.
Oh, that's sick.
He was unbelievable. That was another great show from ESPN past. A couple texts rolling in here. Tweeter and the Monkey Man from a few different texters by the Headstones was a cover. Awesome. Yeah, that's a good one. I will give you that. Lance is obsessed with covers. So he actually does like the Atari's Boys of Summer. Not me, Lance. We agree on the Raiders, and we agree on, or disagree on the Raiders, and disagree on that. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, we'll continue to look around the NFL as we head out to Buffalo. We'll talk some Bills, see what's going on with Bills Mafia, as we'll be joined by Nick Sabato of the Niagara Gazette and Lockport Union Sun and Journal. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440 on YouTube. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Mr. Rooter cries like a little tiny baby child.
Hey, Mr. Rooter, you've got a package from Mrs. Rooter.
Aw, the card says, "Thank you for our unbreakable bond. You're the pro press fitting to my copper pipe."
Ooh, what's in the package, Mr. Rooter?
Let's see. It's a Plumbus 2000 spud wrench. She knew I'd never buy one for myself.
Just like tears. It's flowing or it's free with Mr. Rooter.
I love that woman.
Your weekend hotspot is at On the Rocks.
Party with Edmonton's best bands every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And we got them all.
From the Varkels to Tallboy, Radioactive, Curves, the Fruit Squad, Morningwood, Roxilla, Punch Buggy, and more.
Plus, the guy who keeps the party going every weekend. DJ Kenny K on the ones and twos, live.
Get ready to have a good time this weekend.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Just Brab and 118th.
Now's the time to shop with the Bricks 0% event. Get what you need today with absolutely $0 down. Pay nothing with no interest until 2028, or choose 36 equal monthly payments on qualifying purchases. Plus, save up to 25% on living room furniture, up to 20% on dining and bedroom furniture, and up to 40% on select mattresses. Hurry into the Brick today. These incredible offers are only on until August 19th. The Brick, saving you more.
School's almost out, and road trip season is just around the corner. But if your brakes sound like they're grinding harder than a hockey fourth liner, it might be time to visit Napa Auto Parts. Napa has all the quality parts, tools, and know-how to help keep your vehicle running smoothly and road ready. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
It's finally time to escape your four walls and see where your four wheels can take you. Sherwood Honda helps you head out on the road the way you want to, with the right vehicle, including freedom-seeking SUVs that give you the versatility to drive where, when, and how you want to. It sure would do some good to get out and stretch your horizons, and sure would be easier with Sherwood Honda.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Rent it, run it, get it serviced. Japa Equipment and Rentals has you covered from their shop to your job site. Alberta's construction pros have counted on Japa for rentals and services since 1972. JapaMachinery.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Before welcome back, it is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight's Lotto Max, an estimated $50 million. You can also head over to the sports section, get in on the Jason Gregor Show special, boosted as per usual. Remember to use your game sense. Connor Halley sitting in, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan here with you. We'll continue our look around the NFL here and head out to Buffalo, talk some Bills as we go in the room. Brought to you by Action Electrical. They're the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta, with 4 divisions in projects, service, tag, and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net as we're joined by Nick Sabato covering the Buffalo Bills with the Niagara Gazette. Nick, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Not too bad. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we really appreciate making some time to join us here on the show. And, the Buffalo Bills last season obviously ending in disappointing fashion against the Denver Broncos. Some unfortunate turnovers resulted in a change with a new head coach coming into that position. Of course, Joe Brady, formerly the offensive coordinator. What has changed, you think, for this Bills team with Joe Brady taking that promotion up to the HC?
I think they have a little more edge to them. They brought in some guys that probably wouldn't have been there last year, namely C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and they're not apologetic about what they want to do. They, there's a couple of scraps during the early portion of training camp, and they essentially both Joe Brady and defensive coordinator Jim Leonard said, I'd rather them show that they have some bite. And then, we had an open practice at the stadium today and at 8:30 in the morning in front of 41,000 fans. It didn't stop them from scrapping. They had a couple of today. So it's been a little more lively than it has been in the past.
What has Jim Leonard brought to that defense coming over from the Denver Broncos? Because I know he was very highly looked at and highly regarded as an offensive coordinator prospect. He was the assistant head coach there with the Broncos as well. You talk about maybe the tenacity, but what else can we expect from this Bills defense with him leading the way?
They're going to be aggressive. It remains to be seen how much they're going to blitz, but given his background, I would assume a decent amount. But he talks a lot about having players play fast and not think so much. With Greg Rousseau, they even said, maybe we can have him freelance a little bit. That's not usually something you hear a coach say. But he's talked about it with two guys today, Terrell Bernard and Deion Walker. Walker had a big game Saturday and looked pretty dominant Saturday, and he was more active than he was a year ago. In Sean McDermott's defense, which was a successful defense and at one time an innovative defense. But it was very rigid. It's you do this if you see this, and there's a little more thinking and options in Jim Leonard's defense.
Yeah, you mentioned they're getting a chance to play or to watch the practice today at the new stadium, Highmark Stadium. It feels like we've only seen the negatives about it on social media, which isn't surprising. We know how toxic X and all those platforms can be. What were your thoughts on the stadium?
I mean, it's a beautiful stadium. It's a little more high class than maybe Bills fans are used to. I think that might take some getting adjustments. You look at the old stadium and it kind of fit Buffalo. It was gritty. It was old. It could be a tough place to watch a game for some people. This one's going to be a little bit different, but I don't expect it to be any quieter.
I was going to say, as long as you have Bills Mafia there, it's probably going to be a good time. And even if the stadium looks nice, I'm thinking the tailgate will probably be very similar to what we've seen in previous years. As we're taking a look at the Buffalo Bills with Nick Sabato, covers the team with the Niagara Gazette. Wanted to ask you about a couple players now new to the team that will be catching passes from Josh Allen, a guy who can be an MVP. And this one came from Declan Kruger, our producer here, who is a big-time Bills fan. He wants me to ask you about Skylar Bell, who the team took in the 4th round.
Yeah, Skylar Bell has been hurt for the last week or so. Joe Brady has been pretty tight-lipped on injuries. I think he's dipping into his Sean Payton background there. He did say that if it was a lower body injury, that if Saturday, if it was a regular season game, Bell would have played. But it's been a pretty quiet training camp for him. I think maybe some expectations for him were unfair. He was a 4th round pick, and we all heard, throughout the draft process that it wasn't a great draft. So, you expect not that he won't be good or can't be good, but it might take, a year or so for him to make an impact. I mean, Khalil Shakir, it took him a year to make an impact. And they've got some guys in front of him too. DJ Moore has been impressive. Khalil Shakir Joshua Palmer is back off an injury, and Keon Coleman has had a nice camp, although he was in a walking boot today. So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, you mentioned DJ Moore there. Obviously, he traded over from Chicago along with a 5th-round pick for a 2nd-round selection. How has the chemistry been with Josh Allen? And I'm asking, for real football, but also fantasy purposes.
Yeah, I think as long as both of them are healthy, they should both have a pretty solid season. They've connected on some big time plays so far in both in training camp and then on Saturday. One thing that's been missing from the Bills offense, I would say for the last maybe 2.5, 3 years is pushing the ball downfield. I mean, Allen isn't a tremendous, deep shot thrower, but obviously he can do it. And you kind of need it to take the top off the defense a little bit. And DJ Moore, that's what he does. And they've shown it, early in camp on a number of occasions. And even Saturday, they showed a willingness to push the ball, in that 10 to 20 yard area where Allen thrives. I mean, he's not always all that accurate when he's throwing it 40 yards downfield, but he can throw a 15-yard out from the opposite hash on a rope. And, there's not a lot of people on the planet that can do that. And it's kind of been missing the last couple of years.
Just staying in the Bills' backfield now, along with Josh Allen. One guy I absolutely love as a running back is James Cook. Feels like he's one of the more underappreciated players in the NFL. 16 rushing touchdowns 2 years ago. Last season is 12 to go with those 1,600 rushing yards. What do you expect out of him? It should be more of the same?
I think you're going to see a lot of James Cook, but maybe in different ways. And they're going to run his favorite play is duo. They're going to run that until people can stop it. He's got elite cutback vision. But I think you're going to see him catch the ball a little bit more. He struggled with some drops early in his career. But they drafted him because they thought he could be a receiving back. But he struggled in pass protection early. He struggled with a couple of drops, but he's also shown that he can make some plays in the passing game, and they just haven't had him do that. Ty Johnson's been their primary third down back, especially on 3rd and 6+. James Cook's just not on the field very much in the previous years, but I think he's going to be a little bit more. You look at Allen; he's ranked in the Bills have ranked in the bottom 5 in passing attempts the last 2 years. It just doesn't seem like that's a sustainable thing. Like that's the best use of Josh Allen and the best use of his contract. So I would expect, whether it's screens, whether it's short dump offs out of the backfield, Cook can line up split out wide, but I would think you're going to see some more of him in the passing game this year.
Now, on the defensive side, we've kind of seen that rotating door for veteran pass rushers. Von Miller was there, then Joey Bosa last year. This year, it's Bradley Chubb, who did have 8.5 sacks with the Miami Dolphins. How's he fitting in with that defense?
Well, they love Bradley Chubb here. Granted, they love Von Miller and Joey Bosa as well. But he's made a pretty big impact so far. He's just kind of that steady Eddie kind of guy that they kind of look up to. And it's a deep position. They don't need him to get 10, 12 sacks. I'm sure they would love if he did. But if he gets them 8, 9, I think they would consider that to be a pretty good year, especially if they can get Greg Rousseau to that double-digit plateau, which he's kind of missed the last few years. They've hoped that he could get there. It just hasn't. But I think the change in defense might give him some more opportunities.
Nick Sabato joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. Nick, of course, covering the Buffalo Bills with the Niagara Gazette. Now, just looking at camp, have there been any positional battles that have stood out to you so far?
There's a few. They've got a left guard between Alec Anderson and Austin Corbett. I would say the arrow kind of points towards Alec Anderson, but they've kind of been going back and forth, since the spring. You have inside linebacker with Dorian Williams, and then rookie Caleb Elarms-Orr. Elarms-Orr has kind of been the talk of training camp Bills wise outside of, Allen and DJ Moore. He's a physical guy. He's been the catalyst of some of these scraps. He's just a physical guy. I asked him last week if it was going to be nice to hit somebody in a different helmet, and he said, different helmet or not, I'm going to do my job 110%. So that kind of gives you an idea of who he is. That's been an interesting one. But the Josh Palmer, Keon Coleman battle for the third receiver has been interesting, but they're both going to play if they're healthy. I would imagine. I don't know how impressive either of their stats will be because of that, but they're both going to play pretty significantly. But yeah, the Bills don't have a ton of holes. They have some questions, but they don't have, a ton of gaping holes that they have to fill.
Now, before we let you go here, earlier today on another show on our station, we did have a New England Patriots guest come on and felt very confident that it was the Patriots division to lose. I'm a little more skeptical. I think I'm leaning towards the Bills camp, and I think the Patriots' first place schedule will be a little bit tougher, even if their team as a whole is better. How do you think the AFC East will play out this season?
I would imagine it'll be between the Bills and the Patriots. You go back to last year, they obviously split. It was interesting because the game in Buffalo, the Bills turned the ball over 3 times, and they were egregious turnovers that led to New England points, and it still took a 50-plus yard field goal at the buzzer to beat them. And then you go back to the game in New England, and it was kind of a bit of a collapse for the Patriots. They were 21-0 in that game. So you can go back and forth on it, but it's hard to bet against Josh Allen. No matter who it is. Can the Patriots do it 2 years in a row? We'll see. I mean, Drake May really struggled in the playoffs. He struggled in the second game against the Bills. I could be very wrong, and he could be a stud again, but it's hard to bet against Josh Allen.
I'm with you. He's still kind of got that Patrick Mahomes feeling. Like if it's within 5 or 6 points and he has the football in his hand to end the game, I like them to get the job done. Well, Nick, really appreciate you doing this today, hopping on this show, and hopefully we can get you on again during the season.
Yeah, anytime.
There you go. Nick Sabato joining us here on the Gregor Show. Covers the Buffalo Bills for the Niagara Gazette. Give him a follow on X at Nick Sabato, GNN. Appreciate him making some time for us because the Bills should be an interesting season. Eh, Declan? What are you thinking? 18, 17-0? What's going to happen with the Buffalo Bills?
3-15.
Oh.
Season from...
Move on?
Yeah.
Blow it up.
New quarterback.
Did you like the Joe Brady hire? You can be honest.
Wasn't my favorite.
It was underwhelming, I kind of felt. And I don't know who out there would have been like the sexy pick, but when it was like, okay, well, he's been there. Maybe he had a great interview and he's going to turn things around.
And like Josh really likes him, right? Like that's I think the biggest thing.
That is the biggest thing. I would think you have him in your corner. That says a lot. And hey, we'll see what happens. I'm intrigued to see. Maybe there's a little bit of a better relationship between those two sides, and gives Josh a little more say in the offense. We'll take a break here. When we come back, 5 questions. It is the Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Tee up for a great day on the course and support the Stony Plain Eagles Senior Men's Hockey Club. It's the Stony Plain Eagles Golf Tournament. Gather your foursome and join the Eagles August 25th at the Links at Spruce Grove for a 2 p.m. shotgun start. Enjoy a fantastic afternoon of golf, great company, and friendly competition, all while supporting the Stony Plain Eagles. Get all the details and register today at stonyplaineagles.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the Power Play 24/7 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. And don't forget about our employee pricing. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Crispy caramelized edges, a pillowy, airy center. Meet the new Papa John's Pan Pizza. Made with Parmesan and Romano cheeses, Papa John's special garlic sauce, and Italian seasoning, all baked directly into the bottom of the crust for a signature golden finish and crispy, savory crunch. Grab a medium pan pizza for just $16.99 today at your local Papa John's. Order now in the app or at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Plan for success in 2027 with help from the Co-op Grow Team. With the latest on-farm technology, our agronomists will work with you to gather and interpret soil samples, analyze data, and gain more insight into your fields. We offer local expertise and trusted advice to help you plan your inputs and prepare for the unexpected. Get ready to make data-driven decisions with Co-op Ag Zone Field. Make a successful 2027 crop plan to meet your field's potential. Talk to your Co-op Grow Team today.
Photographers, start your cameras. Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest is back. We're asking you to show us the people, places, and moments that made you glad you chose this rural life. Maybe it's the view from your farm, a walk down Main Street, neighbors pitching in, a weekend at the rodeo, or a sunset down a back road. Share your photo to show why life in rural Alberta is a choice worth celebrating. Enter and vote at whatsyourshare.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by 01 Hockeyology, Edmonton's home for elite hockey development, skating analysis, performance assessments, and year-round training at West Edmonton Mall. Elite hockey development at 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's 4:43. Welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight's Lotto Max, $50 million. Get your ticket. PlayAlberta.ca. Connor Halley, Duncan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan with you here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. All right, now we're going to get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. The Sleep Better sale starts Thursday. Save 40% on the Sealy Crown Jewel Resort mattress. Get sheets starting at just $49 and buy one pillow. Get the second for just $10. Only at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
Okay, question number 1. In your estimation, Connor, who is the most exciting player in sports right now?
All of sports we're talking.
I kind of restricted it to like North American because that's our viewing preference. But if you want to go worldwide, go for it.
No, we'll keep it in North America. I mean, okay, the biased answer here, and I'm not just trying to suck up to our listeners, but it's Connor McDavid. No other athlete to me plays as often. Like, he plays a third of the game. He's always out there. The second the puck is on his stick, anything can happen. Like, he's a threat to take it coast to coast and score a goal. We haven't seen a player move like him, as fast as him, accelerate with the puck like him. He's the best player in the NHL. He has been the last few years. And now he's been certified with a 99 in NHL 2027. There's a lot of great guys out there. Like Prime LeBron was always a thrill to watch. You look at the NFL, having a guy like, Randy Moss, heck, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan are in that category, but, I still think I lean with Connor McDavid. How about you?
I think it's Anthony Edwards for me.
Okay.
Yeah. And a lot goes into it. Obviously, his athleticism is off the charts. He makes exciting plays look easy for him, and he is obviously a very good player. So for him, I think another thing too with like Connor, like to a casual fan, and I'm not talking like I think sometimes people don't always understand what goes into some like the magic he does because they don't understand some of the intricacies of hockey. Like I'm not talking about our listener base. I'm just talking about like the general North American population. I think that's kind of evidenced by hockey's lack of popularity in the States sometimes. Like, I think sometimes people don't understand, like, just how easy he makes his zone entry look or, like, how good his edge work is or something like that. You know what I mean? But, like, with Anthony Edwards, it's like, oh, jump high, ball goes through hoop. Like, everyone can kind of see that and be like, wow, that was electric. And then on top of that, like, just some of the dunks he has, which is the most exciting play in basketball, are highlight reel stuff. So I think it'd be him from me.
Yeah, and that's probably fair. I mean, a lot of people, you just don't see kind of the intricacies of the game. Like, wow, what he's doing on ice. It's incredible. It's probably a little more relatable to see what Anthony Edwards or a guy like him would do.
Yeah.
I'd have Wemby in there too, but he doesn't necessarily have those like earth-shattering dunks or anything, right?
Yeah, he has like not as much as Anthony. And then like his thing is also like, you're just like you're just in such awe watching him that he's even a real human, that it's like anything he does is just kind of exciting because you're like, wow, he's 7'5". You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's true.
It's not the same as like watching Connor do it or Ant Edwards. Question number 2, Roger Goodell has said there will no doubt be an NFL team based outside of the States. Your thoughts on this, and what would you do? Like, where would you have it? How would you go about it type thing?
I think this is stupid unless it's in North America still. So outside of the States, when I first thought that, my mind goes, okay, well, London's hosted games. Germany's now hosting games. They're going to Spain. Like Australia would be ridiculous, as would Brazil, where they've gone the last couple of years here. I'll go Mexico City. Like, is that a cop-out answer?
No,
because
I think that's a great answer.
We've seen games played there. There's the altitude factor, which would give a home team a great advantage, but they like football. I mean, didn't they finished pretty high in flag football? Diana Flores, the quarterback, is a stud on the women's side. I think that if you're going to go outside of the United States, Mexico would be the option. I don't know how it would work for tax purposes and all that sort of thing. I don't think we've proven in Canada that we could support a game. The Bills played games in Toronto. It didn't always look the best. So I would be going to Mexico City. How about you, Young Deck?
My first thought was, because the way Roger Goodell phrased this, didn't you kind of get the impression he meant Europe?
That's what I thought.
But I was wondering if he was doing like a sneaky little backdoor thing, like it would actually be Mexico City or possibly Toronto. The reason I don't love Toronto is because I don't love the prospect of what it would do to the Argos and the CFL in that city. I think Toronto, for a lot of reasons, could be a really feasible market. It seems like Rogers is a little bit out on the Argos in a lot of respects. There's kind of like, it's been talked about before, you know, they're right there. They have NBA, MLB teams. So it's kind of an easy transition into like an American sports market, if you will. But I'll say, like, I think the other thing is, if you really do want to expand in Europe, I think you need like minimum 4 teams to make that work. And truthfully, I think you probably need 8 and some serious conference realignment. And I don't know how realistic that is. So I'll say maybe if they do just go this direction and, you know, Toronto doesn't work out in the capacity I talked about, I'll say 1 team in London.
All right.
Question number 3. What are your thoughts on the Seahawks' plan to sign Terry and Arnold?
Geez, I mean, it's interesting because the Terry and Arnold case is wild. We saw the accusations of what was going out there, kidnapping, and there was something else that was, discussed. He is a good player, no doubt about it. PFF doesn't necessarily grade him the highest. I think they had him, let me just check here, among cornerbacks, they had him graded 97th out of 114. But the prospect of having him on your team is very good. And if you have a strong team culture and you just want to bring in talent, I think it would be a good move. Do I think he plays? Probably not. I mean, these charges, I'm not a lawyer, so we'll see how it pans out. But I don't think the chances of him playing are great. I think he's on the commissioner exempt list, so he'd have to get off that still. But from a football perspective, the more guys you can bring in that have talent, why not do it? But I don't know. Do you believe in karma in the football world? I don't know, Dak. This one, it's a weird move to me. I could see a team that sucks and is trying to make a desperate play do something like that. But we've seen it again, like the Kansas City Chiefs for a long time, right? I mean, they were in a position, to bring Kareem Hunt back after off-field issues. Tyreek Hill, they drafted him even though he had some concerns. Like, if you believe that you can provide a stability or a stable franchise and surrounding for them, and I guess you can understand why they did it. I feel like I took every side there. Like, I like it, but I don't like it. I understand it, but I don't understand it. It's a perplexing move for me.
Yeah.
What about you?
I don't like, you made some excellent points that I always love to hammer home when we have discussions like this. Like, I am not a lawyer. I do not have, the best understanding of the legal system. And one thing we do have in, Canada and North America is you are innocent until proven guilty, which is, I think, is a wonderful thing about the legal system. But on the other hand, it's like, at some point, shouldn't the guys who should be in prison probably just be in prison and not, getting second goes with the Super Bowl champions? And like, maybe he does go to prison. We saw Henry Ruggs go to prison. Granted, that was vehicular manslaughter. I don't want to, get into a debate about severity and things like that. But there is, like, at least we finally have a precedent, it seems, for, like, active players going to jail when they do something really, really wrong, which kind of seems to be the case of Terry and Arnold. And, a lot that needs to play out with this, in a legal sense that we're not privy to, and that we're probably, I'll speak for myself, probably just not always educated enough to understand.
Yeah.
But my thing is, like, hey, don't say yeah like that. Give me a little credit.
Not me, not you.
My point is just, like, at some point, the guys who need to be in prison should probably be in prison and not getting these second chances. So, question number 4. If you had to put together a 3-leg MVP parlay for the NFL, NBA, and NHL seasons right now, today, August 18th, who would your picks be?
Well, I was listening to Fox Sports Radio Sunday morning, and the guys were saying, don't do parlays. You never win with parlays. They'll screw you. But if I had to for this question, the NFL, Justin Herbert, I'm expecting a big season for her with a new offensive coordinator. And if he gets him into top spot, I feel like people are going to be talking. He's heard the haters. He hasn't won the division, hasn't won a playoff game, but I think he could be a guy who trends in the right direction. My NBA MVP, I'm going to stay in LA, Luka.
Okay.
Wemby will be tough, as will SGA. But with LeBron leaving, I think that opens up the door for Luka, if he stays healthy, to have a heck of a season. And being in LA certainly won't hurt. The NHL one, that's the toughest one for me. Can I go McDavid in 2 answers? It's a little risky. I'm going to go Macklin Celebrini. I'm going to say they get the bump into the postseason, and that all of a sudden launches him, and he has another big year. Then he gets into the 99 club, like Mackenzie said, and it just caps off a great 2027 for Macklin Celebrini. So I guess I'm going California for the whole thing.
Yeah, no, wow. We do have 3 different ones here, but I love where you went. I love the Luka shout. He is up against it because the voters think he is so fat and disgusting and bad at defense. That's always going to hurt him. But I love that you went there. I would go with Wemby for the NBA. I would go with McDavid for the NHL, putting the hometown bias aside, because obviously last year when we did our ballots, I had Cooch as my number 1, and all of Sports 1440's Facebook followers screamed at me for it. Yeah. So, but I would put McDavid there for the NHL. And then the NFL, I've kind of gone back and forth with this one, because I actually think it could be a quarterback who we're not really expecting, that just really over exceeds expectations on, like, a good team. Like Drake May was right there in the conversation last year. I don't think any of us think of him really as one of the premier quarterbacks of the NFL. So I got kind of a weird one for you. You ready?
Ready.
Lions have an unreal season. Jared Goff.
Okay.
Do you hate it?
I don't hate it.
Because the other thing is, when I'm thinking in the sense of a 3-leg parlay, we want to have a little bit of value there. And if the Lions find themselves 14-3 and he's got like 4,000 yards and 35 touchdowns, it's feasible.
Yeah. I don't hate it.
But you don't love it.
I am a fan of Jared Goff, actually. And I think with that group that he has there, we who did we have on from Detroit? I think we're going to go to Detroit tomorrow, actually. So on the Gregor show, so we can kind of prop that up and see what they think. But Jameson Williams, allegedly looking good. Amon St. Brown, the tight ends, and Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, like the weapons are there to put up big numbers. And if Jared Goff reduces the turnovers, which he showed he's capable of doing, I don't hate that one, Deck. I don't hate it.
Yeah, because like in the NBA and NHL, those very much are my heart and MVP predictions. Not as much in the NFL, but if I'm putting a parlay together, I got to have a little bit of leg of value there. So
that's fair.
That's where that comes in. And question number 5, co-founder of ESPN, Bill Rasmussen, sadly passed away at age 93 earlier today. You kind of touched on this one earlier, but did you have a favorite ESPN show growing up, or maybe just a favorite thing about the station?
Honestly, when I was kind of younger, ESPN, it was tough to get the shows on TV. Like they really didn't show that much. So growing up, it wasn't until probably high school when PTI and Around the Horn were all of a sudden brought on to kind of the TSN broadcast. So those would be right up there. Monday Night Countdown is an institution. I love what they do. It kind of sucks because they, if they went away to bring these on, but the E60s or 30 for 30 were always unbelievable. I'll stop there because I can't just keep on going. But yeah, all those were really good. How about you?
Honestly, for me, it was like the First Take Stephen A. Skip Bayless edition. Just because, especially like in the early days, like in like 2000, when did they start? Like 10, 11? In and around there.
Yeah.
Like it was really, they had great chemistry. Like I think they had some of the best chemistry I've ever seen from two people on TV. Skip leaned into his bit a touch, but it was still more organic back then. And Stephen A wasn't what he is now. And I just think they complemented each other so well and made it like legitimate good TV viewing. So I'll say that one.
They had some good stuff. The ESPN commercials were hilarious. I don't know if you've ever seen the old ones they used to do. This is ESPN, I think was the tagline, but like the John Clayton one where he finishes his hit and then he like rips off his shirt. He's got a Slayer cut off shirt on and he undoes the ponytail and he's living at home. Like RIP, that guy was outstanding.
The one of Floyd hitting the heavy bag with Brian Kenny's face on it after their spat.
Obi is the what do you think he is, a Russian spy? And LT can see through the visor. Like there were so many of those good commercials. So yeah, it's the classic stuff. Mason for his MVPs would go Bo Nix in the NFL, SGA in the NBA, and Connor McDavid. I'm going orange there. Nicky Northside, 3 MVP predictions. I had Herbert, Luka, and Macklin Celebrini. Declan had McDavid. Who else did you have? Wouldn't
And well, I want to be clear again that not necessarily predictions, Nicky Northside. This was if you're throwing 3 together for a parlay. So I had Victor Wembanyama, Connor McDavid, and Jared Goff.
For a parlay. Let us know yours. 1-833-401-1440. They can be your honest thoughts or just a parlay you might cook up if you're feeling it at playalberta.ca. Still to come on this show, we're going to get to the stats of the day. We've got Cam Tate's 2-minute warning, and we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. We're also going to give away a pair of Elks tickets. What should be the question? My question for you, for 2 tickets to see the Elks take on the Bombers Friday night, 7:30 down at Commonwealth Stadium. You walk in the game. You go to the concession. What's the must-have? Could be food, could be drink, could be both. What's your order when you get to the Commonwealth concession? Let us know, 1-833-401-1440, and you'll be entered for a chance to win 2 tickets to Friday night's game. Right now, though, Sports 1440 update with Declan Kruger, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Mike and his team at Northgate care about the community, and for the rest of August, proceeds from every vehicle sold will go towards the Summerland wildfire victims, only at northgategm.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
Games around the majors. 3 games currently tied at 0-0. The Yankees and Orioles, Tigers and Pirates, as well as the Cards and the Reds. Marlins and Phillies tied 1-1 in the top of the second, while the Guardians lead the Giants 3-0 at the same mark in the ball game. And the Blue Jays currently up 2-0 on the Rays. WNBA set to get going in just a moment's time here. We will have the Sparks and the Sun, as well as the Indiana Fever and the Toronto Tempo. Then at 7 o'clock, the Liberty and the Sky, and the Dream and the Aces. News from around the sporting world is Canada men's soccer player Jonathan David will join Brighton on a season-long loan. The Montreal Canadiens are adding Carey Prices to the Bell Centre's Ring of Honor, and Bayern midfielder Jamal Musiala has revealed a neurological issue after a collapse during a game for the second time. And finally, the Arizona Diamondbacks could tell Marte to have an MRI on his knee after no showing the game in Boston yesterday. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Kickoff is coming August 21st. Elks, Blue Bombers at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. It's Country Night presented by Innova. Dust off that Canadian tuxedo and bring the hockey talk to the field. Get your tickets at goelks.com/tickets.
Now's the time to shop the Bricks 0% event. Get what you need today with absolutely $0 down. Pay nothing with no interest until 2028. Or choose 36 equal monthly payments on qualifying purchases. Plus, save up to 25% on living room furniture, up to 20% on dining and bedroom furniture, and up to 40% on select mattresses. Hurry into the Brick today. These incredible offers are only on until August 19th. The Brick, saving you more.
Get your early morning going with the sports stories Edmonton Ashley cares about. Catch Tom Gazzola weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Sports 1440. Edmonton sports leader. Don't just listen. Join the conversation at 833-401-1440.
Hey, Edmonton, thinking about your next SUV? Think Subaru. The Subaru Forester has earned an IIHS top safety pick or higher for 20 years in a row. Add legendary Subaru symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and the 2026 JD Power Canada Best Residual Value Award among compact SUVs, and you've got an SUV that's built to protect today and hold its value tomorrow. This month, take advantage of loyalty rates as low as 0.99%. Come test drive the Forester at your local Subaru dealership today. Welcome to Uncommon.
Make every game an away win with Trax Coach Lines. Trax Coach Lines has you covered with safe, comfortable, reliable team transportation when your performance matters most. With flexible pricing, customized experiences, and safe travel, they ensure your team arrives ready to perform. Enjoy their luxury climate-controlled motor coaches, professional drivers, and 24/7 support. Travel anywhere, anytime. Visit TraxCoachlines.com for a quote today. Find out why professional teams trust Trax Coach Lines, your MVP for team transportation.
Portions of this hour brought to you by CanTorque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, flange maintenance equipment, and more. Order today at CanTorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley. We've got Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan here as we roll through the 5 o'clock hour of this Tuesday edition of the show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight's Lotto Max, an estimated $50 million. Get Get your ticket at playalberta.ca. We asked you the question. If you're going to the Elks game, you walk into Commonwealth, you're going to the concession. What is the first thing you're buying? Let us know. 1-833-401-1440. You'll have a chance to qualify to win 2 tickets to Friday night's game. We've even got people saying, I don't even need to go. I just tailgate. The tailgate's great as well. But for the purposes of this question, what are you getting? For me, probably mini donuts. Deck, what would be your first stop? But you're foregoing the press box. You're going to the concession. What are you getting?
Oh, man. At Commonwealth specifically.
Commonwealth specific. Yes, sir.
Honestly, I think I'm doing the quarter-pound colossal dog and 6 beers.
6. You can only get 2 at a time, I think, but you'll find a way around that.
They see the yellow press badge and they bend the rules for me.
Yeah. This guy knows. This guy gets it. Let us know. 1-833-401-1440. We might have to ask our next guest if he was in that situation, what he might grab. As we're going to get to the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction, hiring operators, pipe layers, and a superintendent. Work for a fantastic company that loves to promote from within with great benefits. Also, huge sports fans. Apply at gsconstruction.ca and search careers, as we are joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. Spec, good evening. How you doing?
Doing awesome. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing really good. Rolling along here. So what would your answer be if you're going to the Elks game Friday night? First stop concession. You can't win these tickets, but what would you be picking up?
Well, it looks like I might be going to the Elks game. My good friend Doug Wolf puts on he does a huge tailgate every game, and we always get invited, and I think Shelk and I are going to go on Friday night, see the Bombers game, so that's going to be awesome. So that means I'll be very well fed walking into the park. So I would say to you, I'll buy I think I would buy 2 beers and celebrate the fact that I believe they cost less than 1 beer at an Oilers game. Is that correct? What's a beer cost at an Elks game?
I don't actually know. Because when I've gone the last few years, it's right to the press box where the drinks are free and they're not beers. $9, Mackenzie tells me.
Yeah, okay. So basically you're getting I'll bet you that's like damn near 2 for 1. Yeah. I would get 2 beers and a bag of peanuts to shell and make a big mess in the stands.
Yeah. Not a bad pick.
If anyone has a nut allergy around me, then that's going to be a problem.
Beat it. Here's a question for you. As we were talking during the break here, and I think I might have the unpopular opinion, but in sport, would you rather be a Hall of Famer without a championship, but you're looked at as one of the greatest of all time, or a role player on a championship team who may be not known by the masses, but you do have that ring?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, probably as a Canadian and a hockey person, I'd lean towards I want a championship, and that's just a team kind of mentality. I think in the sport, right? That's the sport. Mm-hmm. It's not about you; it's about us. So, and I kind of like that. That's one of the things I like about being a Canadian, about being a hockey person. But I guess I'd say to you that 15 years after I'm done my career, if I'm a total superstar, I don't have to work the rest of my life because I've made tons and tons and tons of money, and now I can just do appearances and everyone loves me. Whereas if I'm, Curtis Lazar, I'm still a hell of a guy, but I might have to get a job.
I mean, it might have changed too in like the last 20 some odd years where the role player, you grind out a 10, 15-year career, you could be some, but
that's
you're not making life-changing money.
If you're smart with your money, you should be. But I guess if I got to pick one, I want to be part of a championship team. What did Fred Sherrill say to the Flyers? If we win, we walk together for the rest of our lives, or some version of that. That's what I want to do. Yep.
I like it. I took the other way. I was thinking, if I can be
Well, you're selfish. You're naturally kind of selfish.
Yeah, and that's what I, hand up. It's me first. But it's for the betterment of my family and those around me. So maybe I'm not selfish. I would just money, help out charities and that sort of thing.
Yeah, sure.
I'll take that, I don't know, the scarlet letter of never winning a championship and always have to carry that burden, But to be a Hall of Famer, there's a lot of positives that go along with it. I don't know. It's an interesting discussion, and I get both sides of it for sure. But that was our little pre-commercial argument here as we went through it. Spec, some news today out of Montreal. The Canadians going to be adding Carey Price to the Bell Center Ring of Honor. You got a chance to cover him for years. Very deserved.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me, right? He is, I mean, when you're looking at, I'm about to start to ask you and say to you, is he the best goaltender that ever put on the uniform in Montreal? But when you're talking about the Montreal Canadiens, that's you better think long and hard before you say that, right? Ken Dryden, Jacques Plante, let's go way back to the pre-mask days of all those guys. They've had some pretty damn good goalies, but I'll tell you what, he was one of them, right? Carey Price was one of them. A great netminder in a hell of a hockey city. So for him to go up on the wall of fame there, or the ring of fame, it doesn't surprise me a bit, to be honest.
Yeah, and say like 25 other NHL franchises, you'd say without thinking, the Montreal Canadiens with Dryden, Plante, Patrick Waugh would be another one who.
I forgot about Patrick.
Pretty good run that he had there with the Montreal Canadiens. And, I always liked Carey Price's game because I didn't think he relied on having to make that spectacular save, only because fundamentally he was so good. He seemed to make it so effortless between the pipes.
Yeah, he exactly. He was. And I would also say to you, he arrived at a time when he wasn't all about the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Like even Patrick Waugh was a great goalie, Hall of Fame guy, but he had the giant clown pants that you could have fit two people into. J.S. Giguere, Garth Snow, all those guys, some of them were 50% gear and 50% guy. And I never felt that way about Carey Price. Carey Price was just he wasn't a massive giant person, and he didn't get 10 times bigger when he came out in the gear. Those guys I have a lot of respect for. The guys like Fierzy and, they didn't, Mike Vernon and all of that generation. They didn't rely on their equipment guy to get them to make saves. So Carey Price, solid Canada Cup guy, Canadian. I believe an Olympic guy. Was he an Olympic guy?
I believe so. Yeah.
Must have been an Olympic guy. I'm just getting my time frames mixed up. But Carey Price all day long. Great player wasn't he out of Williams Lake, BC, Bill's Pond, I believe.
Yeah. There you go. And obviously a many-time All-Star. And just looking through here, best goaltender at the 2014 Olympics, obviously going hand in hand with the gold medal. So did it on the international level as well.
And it should be said that he was a find of the great Edmonton scout Elmer Benning, who receives credit for having originally scouted Carey Price and pointed him out as, hey, we should draft this goalie. So let that go down in Ring of Honor history as well.
You mentioned Garth Snow. Was he wearing lacrosse shoulder pads? Do you think there was any evidence that was true? Because I remember that being a rumor. They were huge.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if they were lacrosse or what, but there was no rules. He was one of the main reasons that they finally got rules into the game. It was just ridiculous how large his gear was, and like I say, to me, probably J.S. Giguere was. It's almost like the Barry Bonds argument. Bonds was probably going to make the Hall of Fame without doing steroids, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was a great ball player, top notch, but then he went out and did all those drugs and did the whole Balco thing and lied about it forever, and to this day likely. And it tainted his whole perspective. So when I think of like a guy like J.S. Giguere was one hell of a goalie. Is he the guy? Did he not win the Hart Trophy without winning the cup?
With the Ducks against the Devils.
Against the Devils, he won the Hart. And it was a hell of a goalie, and I don't want to demean the guy, but his equipment was like, it was ridiculously large, right?
Yeah.
His gear was so big. His chest and his pants were like, and that was they had to change the rules not only for goalies, but for the whole game. Those guys helped to bring the game to its point where we had to redo all the rules and redo everything because no one scored enough. It was boring watching those guys play. So, you know what? Good for they had a nice career, but Carey Price wasn't one of those guys, and I'm happy to say that about him.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just looking at pictures of Garth Snow, and it wasn't just the shoulder pads. His pads were massive. So it's good we kind of took care of that for sure. Mark Spector joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in, looking around at the Edmonton Elks, getting ready to take on those Winnipeg Blue Bombers. again, Spec. And right now for the Edmonton Elks, just a chance to kind of continue the momentum that they picked up with the win over the Argonauts on and off the field. The Bombers will be a good test. But hey, every win now against these teams in the Western Conference is huge because you got to try to get that space, making sure at the very least you get home field advantage rather than having to go on the road, whether it is Calgary, BC, or Winnipeg, or Saskatchewan, right? Like if you finish second, you want to make sure you get that home field advantage for at least one game. And, what a reward that would be for the families too.
Oh, for sure. And like there's something about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. It's funny, the shoe's on the other foot. Like the Edmonton Eskimos were this team for a long time, where even in a year maybe where they weren't as good, when that green and gold uniform and that double E helmet came to your town, it was still a big deal. We talk about the Montreal Canadiens, right? Like I remember when even to this day, when that uniform skates out on the ice, it's not a normal game. It's not an everyday game. And today in the CFL, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers really hold that mantle. And I know they haven't been as good this year. And I know that maybe they're coming over the cliff here a little bit from all those great years. But, if you're going to get anywhere in the CFL's Western Division, you got to beat a team like Winnipeg. And the Elks are ready to do it. They're probably a better team right now than Winnipeg. They got them at home. They're playing good ball. They got things going. And it means something right now in the CFL to beat that W, to beat the guys wearing blue and gold and that W on their helmet. It's a hell of a franchise, man. They've had however many Grey Cups in a row they were in. They've been the class of the league. And now it's time for the Elks to get, to try to be that team. And you can't be that team till you beat them. So I think it's a significant game on Friday night for the Elks to go out and play a team like Winnipeg and show, hey, you're not 10 times better than us anymore. In fact, guess what? We're going to beat you twice in a row this year, and let's see how that fits.
Friday night under the lights. I mean, every sport is better under the lights. So down at Commonwealth, it's going to be an awesome.
That's going to be fun. Hey, I'm looking forward to the game, man.
7:30 start. It's going to be great. And like I said, we'll be giving some tickets away later on in the show. Speaking of the CFL and a former member of the Green and Gold, Trey Ford taking first team reps with the Ticats at practice. Obviously, big win for them over the weekend over the Rough Riders. And Trey Ford, for me, has always been someone who, a lot of the offense came on the big play, the splash play. If he can become that guy who drops back in the pocket, makes the read, gets rid of the football fast, you've got a weapon there. What do you think of Trey Ford? And it's taken some injuries, we know, with Bo Levi Mitchell going down, but getting a chance to potentially be the guy for the Tiger Cats.
Yeah, I think we all kind of cheer for him, don't we? I think we all wish him well. I think we all, in a way, it reminds me of Jesse Puljujarvi. I know everyone thinks I hate his guts. He's an awesome kid. He couldn't play that well. He's not an NHL player. Today he plays in Switzerland. But I think we all cheer for him because he was here. And you drafted him in Edmonton. Taylor Hall wins a cup. And it was just, it brought me real true joy to watch him hoist that cup and finally win one. And, Trey Ford's got some of that going on, right? We watched his travails here in Edmonton. And he tried and failed and it didn't work and they moved him out. And I'd love to see that guy in a second life here in Hamilton grab the reins and become an everyday quarterback. I'm not telling you he will be. I'm not sure he will be until you do it. You can't call someone an everyday CFL quarterback until he is one. And Trey Ford isn't one yet. He's only playing because someone got hurt. And frankly, he's lost the job once and he kind of got it back. And now he's going to get a start. And I'm here to, I'll sit down in front of the TV and watch him. I hope he does well. But there's also a finite number of chances that you get, right? Mm-hmm. So I would say to you, the pressure rises on Trey Ford here. He's getting a chance in Hamilton. That's awesome. I hope he passes for 500 yards in the next game. But he better keep that job because they're not going to keep giving him starts if he doesn't grab the reins here.
Yeah, and if he does, all of a sudden you probably have the most exciting player in the CFL.
He's a really exciting player. Yeah.
When he's rolling it back behind the line of scrimmage, buying time. Hey, anyone who played defensive back or even watches football knows you start having to cover for 5 seconds plus, that job becomes nearly impossible. So, I think there's a lot of like-minded folk with you thinking, yes, we would like to see what this guy can do. As Mark is us here on the Jason Gregor Show, Connor Halley sitting in. Spec, a good start for the Blue Jays tonight, up 2-0. We'll have that game for you on our AM feed following the Jason Gregor Show. But are we starting to see some belief here? Guys starting to raise their game at the right time for Toronto?
Oh, for sure. I mean, to me, Tampa's the team. Like it's to win 3 or 4 from Boston, 2 or 3 from the Yankees at home. That's awesome. They're 7-3 their last 10, right down the stretch. The hardest time. They're playing the hardest teams, and they're 7-3 in their last 10. That's awesome. Their pitching's been great. But the one Achilles heel for Toronto, and this goes back years, has been the darn Tampa Bay Rays, man. That team beats the Blue Jays for fun. So you're going in there for, I think, a 3-game set. Is it a 3-game set? I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get one off the top, man, that's a bit of a voodoo thing for the Blue Jays. There's something about the Rays. There's something about the Rays. So when I leave this interview, I'm going to go sit in the deck and watch what's left of that game, and I'm hoping the Jays win it. But to me, it's a big series. Get 2 out of 3 in Tampa. I think you come out of there shot out of a cannon going to the Yankee Stadium at the end of the week.
Oh, 100%. And that would be it, right? That little mental hurdle to get over it.
That's a mental thing. It's a mental thing.
If you're down there, Spec, you can get for tickets tomorrow as low as $11. So it's not the hottest ticket in town, apparently.
Where are they? Are they still playing in the Yankees spring training facility?
You know what? We actually have a WNBA game on right now in studio, so I couldn't even play.
What the hell are you guys doing in there?
The Tempo are getting crushed. Caitlin Clark and the Fever looking good in this one. We'll have to switch it over, I think.
Okay.
But we'll reconvene tomorrow and talk about it.
Yeah. All right, man. Sounds great.
Thanks, Spec. Have a good night.
No, you too.
There you go. Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet joins us every day here on the Jason Gregor Show just after 5 o'clock. And good pick. A couple beers at the game. Not too bad. We did ask that question. If you're going to Commonwealth on Friday night, and you could be simply by answering this question at 1-833-401-1440, the response is Buds Nation says, give me some beer and a popcorn. Cal in the Park, beer and a dog. Aaron says the onion rings with vinegar and salt. Deadly. Never been an onion rings guy, but I like the salt and vinegar concept. Banquet beer and a pulled pork poutine from Capital C. I had that once in Golden. Gravy on the side because I don't like my fries to get soggy. That sounds delicious. A cold Canadian with nachos and cheese sauce. Good pick. Trevor's going for the pizza and a beer. You get that pizza after the beer, after that little cardboard thing. And then you finish the pizza and that cardboard's like see-through. A lot of grease on that, but you're at the game. You got to do it. James says, hot dog with fried onions and mustard every time. JC says, I know what Struddy's would be. Big and nuts. I'm not going to say the rest. Nikki Northside going for the cheeseburger. Yeah, cheeseburger's a great one. So keep those rolling in. We'll give the tickets away probably in the final segment. Lunenberg says, I live in Spruce Grove and like to take in the Elks game. What's the best way to get to Commonwealth these days? Park and ride? I would think so. Parking around that area has got a lot tougher, Lunenberg. They're, kind of clamping down on the spots. I remember the good old days when you could just park on somebody's backyard. That was fantastic. You're not doing that anymore. Some of the areas tougher to get to. I would say park and ride would probably be your best bet. If anyone has any advice and little secrets, let us know. We can pass those along to you. But yeah, find a spot, hop on the bus. I think that's probably your best bet. Unless you have a parking pass, then that's the way to go. We'll take a break. When we come back, more text. We'll get to the stats of the day and Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Everything is going to be okay. If you're feeling the weight of too much debt, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or a consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal will eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we've got your back.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
crispy caramelized edges, a pillowy, airy center. Meet the new Papa John's Pan Pizza. Made with Parmesan and Romano cheeses, Papa John's special garlic sauce, and Italian seasoning, all baked directly into the bottom of the crust for a signature golden finish and crispy, savory crunch. Grab a medium pan pizza for just $16.99 today at your local Papa John's. Order now in the app or at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Smart, connected, community driven. Jason Gregor sets the standard for sports talk in Edmonton. Join the conversation on Sports 1440. Text Gregor 833-401-1440. Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
Are you a skilled laborer? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience, All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
Why tee off at the Ranch Golf and Country Club?
A fun, unique layout offering premier conditions. The Ranch has been ranked as one of the top public courses in Canada.
Unmatched value. Score Golf Magazine rated the Ranch as the best value in Edmonton.
The service, from tournaments to special events to the pro shop. Superior service that makes every visit exceptional.
The Ranch Golf and Country Club, a laid-back environment where anyone can enjoy an amazing day on the fairways. For details, visit theranchgolf.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. The goal of every one of the thousands of hair restoration procedures I've performed is a full, natural-looking head of hair. I work directly with my patients for the consultation, the procedure, and the follow-up, so we can achieve the best results possible. When people see what we accomplish, I don't want them to think, "Wow, great hair transplant." I want them to think,
"Wow, great hair."
Go to drvanceelliott.com and contact us today.
The Lawnmower Hospital. If you've got a lot of grass to cut, or just a little, the Lawnmower Hospital and Toro make it a breeze. Handle your yard with an easy maneuvering personal pace Toro walk-behind mower. For commercial and acreage use, hop on a Toro MyRide zero turn with the comfort and performance you deserve. Plus, 0% financing available for up to 36 months. See Toro, the top name in turf, now at lawnmowerhosp.com. The Lawnmower Hospital.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world, plus variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
You should have the 2-minute warning now. Welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. The Lotto Max tonight, $50 million. Get your ticket, PlayAlberta.ca. You can also head over to the sports section, have some fun, check out the Gregor Show specials. Boosted, as usual. Some good ones tonight. Some Major League Baseball. If you're a fan of the Reds, there's an option there for you. Go check it out. It's Dex Selects. Remember to use your game sense. Connor Halley, Duncan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan with you here. Titan just wrong numbered us and exposed himself for trying to stack the ballot box here. So Titan, we'll see if that hurts you. The funny thing is, we had asked if anybody has any good special parking spots, let us know. Trying to help out a fellow listener. And Titan said, I'm not telling you guys my spot. Only a few within walking distance. I've got to get there early. And then he tells his wife to text us. Or he thought he was texting his wife. He texted us instead. We'll see who wins, Titan. Maybe we can make a deal. Mark says taco in a bag. Mark, you're a smart man. Taco in a bag, to me, is like the best snack. Anytime I see it, I want to get it. It started maybe at K-Days back in the day. Unbelievable. Mackenzie, you're going to be going to the game on Friday. As a fan, hypothetically, what's the answer for you when you get in there? You're going to the concession. You're familiar with the surroundings.
Yeah. Last time I went, I got like the garlic bread chicken sandwich, I think it was. It was like a chicken Caesar garlic sandwich. It was okay, but it's small for what you actually get. So I'm a big believer in just a hot dog and a beer. That's the go-to. You can't mess it up.
Simple.
Yep.
That's all you need. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of good options. That's the great thing about it. But let us know. We're going to be doing the giveaway in the final segment of the show. 2 tickets to the game, and we'll do this all week. So if you want to go to the game, make sure you keep tuned in here on Sports 1440. And you can also just text an Elks to 1-833-401-1440. We also have an ongoing contest that way as well. Right now, though, we are going to get to Cam Tate's 2-minute warning, assuming we are good to go here. Brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No OT charges, furnace repair, and maintenance. You can do it now with legacyheating.ca. Tater, traveling for a little while there. He is back now with a 2-minute warning. I feel like Tater, Deck, you probably had the feed on there because you and I both got the email from Cam Tate at the exact same time. I just got it on my phone. Are we ready to roll? All right, let's get to it. Cam Tate's 2-minute warning.
Folks, I have done the research. And when I say research, I mean I cracked a Coke, tore into a family bag of cheesies, and burned 26 minutes of my one wild and precious life. 26, staring at a wall thinking about football. And here's where we're at. Next item on the to-do list, I am going through my entire contact list, all 4 of you, you know who you are, to find out if anyone has a relationship with Mr. Football himself, Roger Goodell, President, Chairman, CEO, Commissioner, Pope of the NFL. I don't know his exact title, and frankly, at this point, it feels rude to ask. Because I've got a proposal for the man. A deal. And you don't email a legend, people. You print it. Cover page. His name. His title. Whatever it turns out to be. Times New Roman. 28-point font. Presentation is everything. Roger, if you're out there, Cam Tate is coming. And I've still got cheesy dust on my fingers. Roger Goodell sat down today and said, quote, no doubt the NFL is going international. Europe. Not a scrimmage in London where 70,000 people politely applaud a punt. A real franchise in a very attractive market, his words. And folks, I have never in my life felt more like a very attractive deal. It ain't in Europe. Folks, quick geography lesson, because apparently we're all sports scientists now. The 49ers play at Levi's Stadium, Santa Clara, 45 kilometers from San Francisco. 45. Nobody complains. They just show up in Mahomes jerseys. Wrong team. Don't worry about it. My point, Roger, is proximity is a myth, and you already know it. So let me pitch you properly. 70 kilometers from the biggest center in this country where they love football, quit their job for the draft, tattoo it on their arm, love football. That's not a soft market, Roger. That's a pipeline. Population 35,000. But here's the math. 0 other pro sports competing for attention. zero traffic getting to the building, and a fan base already driving 70 clicks for a regular season game with nothing on the line. Give them something on the line. Land's cheap. Labor's cheap. The people are loyal. You're not expanding the league, Roger. You're completing it. Ready for the new team's name? Amy ideas? Ready? The Moose Jaw. Antlers. 2-minute warning. Sports. 1440.
Interesting take, Cam. What about the Warriors? I guess they wouldn't necessarily compete all the time. The whole talk about moving to Europe, I don't know. To me, it makes no sense. Canada as an option is interesting. We have 3 Canadians in our studio. One's a Chargers fan, one's a Bills fan, one's an Eagles fan. If we could turn on our mics, please. Declan, if a team moved to Canada, let's call it expansion for the sake of it, would you become a fan of that team, or are you a Bills fan till you die?
I'd rock with the Bills, but they would definitely be my second team, if you will. I don't really always believe in having second teams, but there would certainly be some vested interest because of the national pride, which is funny because I don't really cheer for the Blue Jays or the Raptors.
Mackenzie, if the team came to Canada, would you cheer for the Eagles or the Canadian team?
I would also probably stick with the Eagles.
Can we turn your mic on?
Hold on. I think your mic. Go ahead.
Hello?
There we go.
Okay. Okay.
Just trying to silence me again.
I thought the mic was dead for a second because that mic actually died a couple weeks back when Josh had it. So.
Like Jon Snow.
Yeah, but I would still cheer for the Eagles. I feel changing up teams, it just feels wrong to me, but I would still have a very vested interest if a team came to Canada.
Okay, well, we're all on the same page, and that was my point. No one is leaving their team. Anyway, the majority is going to ditch their team. I would only go to watch this team if the Chargers were there, and I wouldn't be wearing the Mooseheads jersey or anything like that. I just don't get it. I don't think it would work. Call me crazy. I just think everyone has kind of established their NFL teams, and there'd be some people for sure that would just hop on and support the team, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. Is it the same if it were to get a team in Mexico, like Declan and I had said? Maybe in Europe, there's a whole new thing. I do think people would go, though. I do think a Canadian team, a city, could support a team. I'd be curious there would be the same things that the Jays and Raptors have faced in the past. Some players don't want to play in Canada. I get it. You'd rather play with your home country. Once you get there, maybe you fall in love and really want to stick around. But yeah, it's an interesting one, Tater. And when I heard that from Roger Goodell, obviously, like Declan, my first thought was he's talking about Europe. But I just think logistically, it seems so tough. And I think that team would be at a huge disadvantage to attract free agents and, players that would be so far away from their family. Maybe some guys like it, but I think it would be, tougher than the challenges faced by the Raptors or the Blue Jays or the Expos or the Grizz when they were here. I just think it makes it a whole lot tougher. We'll take a break, our final one of the show. When we come back, we'll be giving away some tickets, get to the stats of the day. If you want those tickets, all you have to do is text in to 1-833-401-1440 for the Elks and the Bombers. Let us know, what is the concession item of choice when you go to a football game? It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Kickoff is coming August 21st. Elks, Blue Bombers at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. It's Country Night presented by Innova. Dust off that Canadian tuxedo and bring the hockey talk to the field. Get your tickets at goelks.com/tickets.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle,
Trouble low down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fan.
Solutions, your partner in power, just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Jaffa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Yeah, it's me again. And if you're sidelined with a sports injury, you already know nothing's more frustrating than being told to just rest. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we get athletes moving sooner with our zero gravity treadmills. You can run, train, and rebuild strength with up to 80% less body weight, so your injury heals while your confidence comes roaring back. When your sports injury's yelling, whisper back, leadingedgephysio.com, because life shouldn't hurt.
Now's the time to shop with the Bricks 0% event. Get what you need today with absolutely $0 down. Pay nothing with no interest until 2028, or choose 36 equal monthly payments on qualifying purchases. Plus, save up to 25% on living room furniture, up to 20% on dining and bedroom furniture, and up to 40% on select mattresses. Hurry into the Brick today. These incredible offers are only on until August 19th. The Brick, saving you more.
Hey, my name is Samantha. I work as an assembly technician for Ford of Canada. What I love about working at Ford is knowing I'm part of something I'm proud to stand behind. And when Ford does something like employee pricing, it makes me even prouder to work here. And that means you pay what I pay.
Ford employee pricing is on now. On select 2026 F-150 models, get over $13,600 in total price adjustments. For details, visit your Alberta Ford store or Ford.ca.
Does your bank do local? We do. When you bank with Vision Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning millions in profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. VisionCU.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all your residential needs. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by playalberta.ca. Tonight's Lotto Max, $50 million. You can get your ticket at playalberta.ca. Also, check out the sports section. We've got the Jason Gregor Show specials boosted as usual. Remember, use your game sense. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan with you here. We're going to get to the stats of the day, brought to you by All-Star Construction, founded in 2009. They continue to grow. They're hiring general laborers, hydrovac operator, backhoe operator, gas piping technicians, and more. Go to Indeed.com and search All-Star Construction. And when I do this, I like to look back at things that happened in history on this day and try to elaborate off that. And on this day in 1965, Brooks Robinson of the Baltimore Orioles hit into his third triple play of his career. tying George Sisler, Deacon McGuire, and Joe Start as the players who hit into the most triple plays. Now, Brooks would go on to hit into one more. 4 times in his career, he hit into a triple play and holds the record for that. And it kind of got me looking at, the triple plays and then other things that have happened in Major League Baseball that are kind of rarities. So only once have we seen 2 triple plays in one game. This was the Minnesota Twins back in 1990 against the Boston Red Sox. 2 consecutive triple plays. 2 in a game, which is pretty wild for sure. Some other interesting things that have happened in the past. Dave Steve of the Toronto Blue Jays lost no hitters, consecutive starts in the 9th inning in 1988. So 2 straight games, he had no hitters going into the 9th inning and lost them. Pretty impressive. But on the flip side, Cincinnati Reds starter John Vandermeer completed back-to-back no-hitters in 1938, June 11th and June 15th. Just 3 days apart, 4 days apart, not much rest. Obviously, we know they were built different back then, but still the only pitcher to throw consecutive no-hitters. On the flip side, when it comes to struggles for batters, how about Charlie Pick back in 1920? He went 0 for 11 during a 20 pretty quickly. How about the Upton brothers hitting back-to-back home runs? They're brothers. They went back-to-back. Seattle Mariners' Mike Cameron and Brett Boone are the only duo to hit back-to-back home runs twice in the same inning. What a game that must have been. Assuming for the Mariners, yes, that's what I said. Brett Boone and Mike Cameron. They would hit back-to-back home runs twice in the same inning in 2002. And how about this one? In 1977, for the Texas Rangers, Toby Harrah and Bump Wills became the first and only players ever to hit back-to-back inside the park home runs. Man, that has to be some unluckiness for the pitcher to give up 2 back-to-back inside the park home runs. That's video game stuff. You got to hit in the perfect spot. You got to hope for errors from the defensive team. Things we might not see happen again. Stats of the day brought to you by All Star Construction. Text line is 1-833-401-1440. We can probably get a couple more entries in before we do the draw for the tickets to the Elks and Bombers Friday night, 7:30 kickoff down at Commonwealth Stadium. Very simple question. You just text it in, 1-833-401-1440. What are you getting at the concession at the Elks game? Rhino the Boilermaker says a beer and a hot dog, maybe some mini donuts to finish her off. I like that answer. And then no name on this one, just says hot dogs. That's the go-to. I also like things that just kind of are simple, right? You could probably grab like 2 beers and a hot dog, throw the hot dog in the back pocket, and roll to your seats. No mess. Easy peasy. I like the simplicity in that one. Declan, do you have anyone you'd like to give these tickets to on the text line that stands out?
Oh, you want me to make the decision here?
Yeah, I've got no issue with you making the decision here, unless you want to pass it off to your best man.
I had capital C in mind. How do we feel about that?
Capital C?
Mm-hmm.
Banquet beer and pulled pork poutine?
Yeah, it's a little creative, and the specificness of the beer is what really sold it for me.
Stood out to you, hey?
Yeah.
All right, Colin, congratulations. You got 2 tickets to Friday's game when the Elks taking on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. We'll be doing this all week. So if you didn't win tonight, of course, you still have an opportunity. And if you still want to go, but you don't want to chance it, it was just like, I'll just buy tickets. Text me. I got a guy. I'll hook you up if you want that. I'll give you his email and he'll get back to you ASAP and make sure you get into Commonwealth. And it's one of those things, guys, if you're going down to the game, it's 7:30 start. You don't want to get there at 7:30. You want to get there 6:30 latest. Take in the tailgate. They got live music. You can walk around, probably get some free food, to be totally honest with you. Everyone's there hooking up the food, the hot dogs. It's going around, and it's just a good time, honestly. Just chatting people up. The Duke and I were there a couple Saturdays ago, and I ran into a guy wearing a LaDainian Tomlinson at Texas Christian University jersey. Of course, I had to have a chat with him. I was like, that is one of the nicest jerseys I've ever seen. Cool guy. You'll see a lot of random stuff there. And that's kind of what I like about the CFL. It might be a Winnipeg-Edmonton game, but you'll probably see a Riders fan there, repping the green. You'll probably see a Lions or a Stamps fan. It's always a good time. Deck, you get down there quite a bit, I know, for obviously work purposes. Do you get there for the tailgate too?
I always walk through it. Like I park in lot C and I have to walk through lot B to get there. Smells amazing. Looks like a great time. Never really had time to actually fraternize. But it looks awesome.
You got to go there. You got to go check out maybe the K97 tent. Maybe Army Daryl. If he's listening, we tried to find him last time, couldn't do it. One of the things that is also very funny, I don't think I texted you, but the game against Saskatchewan, they had water in the press box.
Yeah, they refilled it for last week too.
So you got it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good.
They had one A&W root beer.
What?
And I meant to grab it even though I only drink diet soda. The one kind of exception is the Elks press box because there's no rules up there. And I did really want that root beer, but by the time I went to grab it, someone had already taken it.
It feels like that was like special for someone.
They've had it before, so I know it can be there.
The problem for me when I get up there, like I have to try to restrain myself, like not go too crazy. Because it's there, it's chilled. Like I just want to grab one after another, but you got to have a little bit of a restraint, I suppose.
I say just go for it.
Like that Connor guy, it's his first game in the press box. He had 17 colas. I was like, I'll be like Forrest Gump with Dr. Pepper.
Who does he think he is?
Just keep on drinking them. No, probably should mix in a water when you're in there as well. But no, it's always a good time there. And it's country night as well. So I don't know the specifics of that, probably resulting in a lot of country music, which I think will be a good reason to get out there. Deck, if you're looking at this from a Winnipeg Blue Bombers perspective, and we're going to be getting into that as we roll on here, who are you watching out for on the offensive side of the ball?
Brady Oliveira, for sure. Stanley Bryan as well for some of the wrong reasons, probably. And then just like truthfully, what Zach Caleros can do healthy being back in the offense.
Do you think that NFL, CFL players, obviously every game's going to be physical, but if you're a CFL linebacker, like, okay, we got Brady this week, 5'9", listed at 226, maybe closer to 230. Like, you can hit him, it's still going to be punishing.
Yeah, you really got to bring your lunch pail when you're going up against him. And he like lowers the shoulder so well, hard to tackle. Like really kind of prototypical running back in a lot of ways that way. That's just like super hard to bring down, always keeps the legs churning, like good motor. I would hate to have like he's got it. Him or Dedrick Mills have to be the worst running back to tackle in the league.
I think so. You do it, but it's going to hurt. Like Rankin, he might embarrass you. You might end up on SportsCenter because you got juked or you missed the tackle. But those guys, like you mentioned, might hurt you.
Yeah, because like on the other, like Justin Rankin's like 5'6", 180. You know what I mean? Like these guys are like 230 and strong, and they're always putting their shoulder into you. So
did we get an update on Mills? Do you know?
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, I mean, Calgary Stampeders certainly need him and Vernon Adams going forward here. We'll have to maybe check into that a little bit deeper here as the week rolls on because very key components for that Stampeders offense. In case you missed it, coming up next week, we'll have Blue Jays baseball. They are on the road down in Tampa. We got confirmation playing at the Trop. That's what I thought, but specs uncertainty threw me off a little. I thought that's where they were playing. Jays playing good ball, obviously winning a lot of their last few series here, and a good start, 6-0 in the bottom of the fourth. Got to keep it rolling here. Soriano playing great since coming over at 3 innings. No earned runs. Couple hits, 2 strikeouts. That guy throws some heat. So it's looking good for the Toronto Blue Jays. The Red Sox, a team in front of Toronto, leading the Diamondbacks 3-0. So, they're so far up. That's probably not the team you're looking on tracking down here. You're just half a game back of that final wild card spot. I think you'd be content with that. The two teams also in front of them, Orioles and Yankees tied at 1 apiece going into the 5th. And that's kind of nice because one of those teams will be losing. I guess for this situation, you're kind of becoming a Yankees fan if you are a Blue Jays supporter. You want the Orioles to lose as much as possible. And good news on that front. The Yankees do have runners on first and second with 1 out. So maybe they'll put in some runs and the Orioles drop down a little bit more. In case you missed anything on this show today, make sure you go check out our podcast, Google, Apple, Spotify, or head over to Sports 1440 AM on YouTube. You can rewatch the show in its entirety. We had John Hodge on the program taking a look around the CFL. Tyson Shuskowicz covers the Jays with Blue Jays Nation. We had Terry Ryan, Andrew Knoll, Oil Report, Nick Sabato talked some Bills with us, Spec, Cam Tate, and of course, all the other fun segments that we do. And in case you missed Terry Ryan, the opening segment with him was kind of cool, getting a chance to talk a little bit about his acting career and, behind the scenes of Shoresy. Like I said, I was watching it last night, and they were talking about the Dutch team that they could only play at 6 a.m. or 10 at night, and they had to reschedule. And the names, of course, a little over the top for the purpose of our entertainment, but the actors ripping through those names with no problem. It's very, very funny stuff. So go support Shoresy, go support TR, and make sure you check out our podcast and YouTube video in case you missed anything. Tomorrow on the show should be a fun one. We've already got things lined up. We are going to head out to Detroit, talk some Lions. We'll also be joined by Tyler Yaremchuk. We've got Mark Spector, Jason Strudwick as well. So should be a good one. Before that, of course, you got the Lowdown with Low Tide, The Frenzy, and the Tom Gazzola show starting at 7 a.m. with guest host Brandon Douglas. For Mackenzie and Declan, I'm Connor Halley. Have a great rest of your night. Everyone get home safe and enjoy your evening. Enjoy the Blue Jays baseball. Maybe you want to watch the WNBA, whatever it is. Enjoy it. Right now, we'll get to a Sports 1440 update. Final one of the night brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. Here is Declan Kruger.
The Sports 1440 update.
MLB scores from around the league. Currently, the Yankees and Orioles tied 1-1 in the top of the fifth. Pirates lead the Tigers 3-1. Marlins and Phillies also tied 1-1, while the Guardians are up big currently at the end of the fourth, 7-1 on the Giants. Cards lead the Reds 1-0. Red Sox up on the D-backs 3-0. Mariners and Brewers tied 0-0, and the Blue Jays up huge on the Rays 6-0 in the bottom of the fourth. Coming up in about 10 minutes time, we will see the White Sox and Cubs, as well as the Nationals and the Rangers. Then in 15 minutes, the Angels and the Astros. Scores in the WNBA at halftime. The Indiana Fever lead the Toronto Tempo 57-49, while the LA Sparks trail the Connecticut Sun 46-42. Games coming up at 7. We'll see the New York Liberty and the Chicago Sky, as well as the Atlanta Dream and the Las Vegas Aces. News from around the sporting world: Canada men's soccer player Jonathan David will be joining Brighton on a season-long loan, while Montreal Canadiens are going to add Carey Price to the Bell Center's Ring of Honor. Also coming down from the MLB, Diamondbacks Ketel Marte to have an MRI on his knee after no showing the game yesterday in Boston. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440, a Stingray radio station, broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.